100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. More than 2 weeks into the war, and Iran has brought oil shipments to a standstill in a critical shipping route. President Trump is urging NATO allies to help.
I'm Vicky Barker in London. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has just addressed the British people, telling them it's vital that the Strait of Hormuz be reopened.
So we're working with all of our allies, including our European partners, to bring together a viable collective plan.
But Germany's foreign minister has just insisted any such plan should not involve NATO, which was designed for defense. That's an apparent rebuff to President Trump's latest demand.
Brent crude trading near $105 a barrel today. That's up more than 40% since the war began. The president's top economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, isn't worried. He tells CBS has faced the nation.
They think that they're going to harm the U.S. economy and get President Trump to back down. There couldn't be anything that was a stupider thing to say, because the bottom line is that our economy has got all this momentum in the world, and we've got lots and lots of oil.
Gas prices are up 25 cents from a week ago to a national average of $3.72 a gallon. Here's how it went at last night's Academy Awards on ABC.
One battle.
The Oscar goes to.
Plenty of awards.
One battle after another.
Paul Thomas Anderson's political comedy thriller, One Battle After Another, beating out Sinners for Best Picture. Also getting the Best Director award for Anderson. 6 Oscars total, but the Southern vampire thriller got Michael B. Jordan his first Oscar for Best Actor.
Thank you so much.
And Jessie Buckley completing the award season sweep, Best Actress for her portrayal as William Shakespeare's wife in Hamnet.
Matt Wolf reporting. Spring begins in 4 days, but winter is keeping a grip on the upper Midwest. A blizzard has paralyzed parts of Wisconsin. These 3 are dealing with heaps of snow in Eagle River.
Not this time of year. I'd rather not have it.
My car doesn't do very well in this weather.
Well, the worst thing is having to come out and shovel it.
The same weather system spawned a possible tornado in southern Tennessee. People in Nebraska are dealing with massive wildfires. Team USA is headed to the World Baseball Classic Championship game for the 3rd straight time.
It is gone! Robert Anthony gives the U.S. the lead!
The call on Fox as Anthony's homer made the difference in a 2-1 victory over the Dominican Republic. The U.S. will meet the winner of tonight's semifinal between Venezuela and Italy. The title game is tomorrow night in Miami. Dow futures are up 185. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
At 6:03, we have cloudy skies, 27 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, March 16th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey.
This is 314. Yeah, oh my God. Oh my God.
314 night turned into chaos Saturday. 7 people shot, including a 14-year-old girl and a 17-year-old male. St. Louis police spokesperson Mitch McCoy says around 9:30, officers were called to the 8200 block of North Broadway after reports of an accident and disturbances involving a large party with hundreds of juveniles.
After the party ended, many of the juveniles then moved into the street, creating havoc and chaos.
Due to the number of juveniles, additional officers were called to help. Officers used their vehicle PA system to order juveniles out of the area and to call their parents for a ride. Officers were forced to close Broadway to protect juveniles from being run over. The juveniles consistently disobeyed police officer orders. As officers continued to order juveniles out of the area, officers heard multiple shots being fired in the large crowd near Broadway and Halls Ferry.
But the pandemonium did not stop there. It moved into downtown and parts of South City until 5:30 Sunday morning. McCoy adds, there were numerous street takeovers in North and South City, one at Market Ford and Gravois by the juveniles and others. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The first alarm in the 4,000 block of Labadie, vacant 2-story, 4-family brick building.
Sunday morning fires kept St. Louis firefighters busy. Gusty winds fanned the flames A second fire in another vacant building that was at North Kings Highway and St. Louis Avenue. No reports of injuries.
Thousands of Ackerman customers in both Illinois and Missouri still without power following Sunday's severe storms. Those outages blanket all areas of St. Louis and the Metro East. No indication when power will be restored.
A precautionary boil water advisory still in effect for portions of the city due to low water pressure caused by a water main break. Some of the affected neighborhoods include Lindenwood Park, Northampton, and St. Louis Hills. Although no contamination has been detected, that advisory has been issued out of an abundance of caution, and it's in effect until further notice.
Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan is reporting that Americans will spend $300 million more now on gasoline than they did just 30 days ago. Yesterday's national average price of gas was $3.68 per gallon. That's 78 cents, 78% of the prices from January 2021 to January 2025.
Outgoing St. Louis County Executive Sam Page has reversed course on the idea of merging the city and county.
Page used to be opposed to a merger, but now he supports it. Still, given the history of this issue, is it realistic? KMOX Republican analyst John Hancock says he does see a path to consolidation, but it's going to take some time.
You're going to have to slowly build a consensus that needs to happen. I am marginally optimistic that it's going to happen within the next decade.
Democratic analyst Michael Kelly says financial circumstances may eventually force the city and county to join.
I'm hopeful that we're able to do it before we're a hospice patient. We're slipping towards that as the St. Louis region. So, who knows? Crisis sometimes is the best remedy. I'm hopeful and have my fingers crossed because I sure do love St. Louis and I'd like it to survive.
The history is daunting. The city and county became separate governments in the 1870s, and merger talks have come and gone many times since then. But in addition to Page's endorsement, Mayor Kara Spencer says she's open to discussions about it. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
They've done sunflowers and corn mazes. Now Eckert's Farm in Belleville introduces the Tulip Trail. It's a new seasonal attraction where people can tiptoe through the tulips and pick bouquets of them. Company president Chris Eckert says they spent about $100,000 to develop the tulip fields, which will open to the public on Friday, March 27th.
If you want professional photos in the flowers, special times can be booked. Dating back to 1841, Eckert is one of the largest family-owned pick-your-own orchards in the country.
From the KMOX business desk, plans afoot for the 217-acre former Emerson campus in Ferguson. SSL Investments of Webster Groves, tied to Onder Law, has eyes on a mixed-use development, although few details have been released. According to the Business Journal, SSL is asking for 15 years of property tax abatement and other incentives on the property it is purchasing for around $18 million. The property is owned by Copeland, an Emerson spinoff, and would be an anchor office tenant there.
We've got cold temperatures. We'll get the latest on the forecast, plus the roads coming up in 2 minutes. It's 6:08.
A lot of people are getting their air conditioners tuned up and ready to go for the summer, and we're getting a lot of calls of people saying they want a second opinion, to have us come out and requesting us to come out there and take a look at their air conditioners. They've been told that they need a new one, and the repair is quite costly and might be best for them to replace the air conditioner and then repair it. If you're in that situation, please give me a call, because there is truly some opportunities here for you that we could save you lots of money, because I'm sure you're going to be shocked. We have the equipment that still works best for you with your budget. It's pretty much the best is what I would put in my home, is what I would recommend. Give me a call. It's Bart Inman. One easy number. The easiest number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Or the online thing, and that is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10, and that means it's time for us to check traffic and weather for you. And we'll start here with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing all right on the interstates, Debbie. Everything's still looking good around the immediate metro area. Like I mentioned at the top of the hour, the interstate conditions are not optimal in Kansas City this morning. And again, just a little heads up, if you are traveling outstate in Missouri or Illinois, I'd just tell you that road conditions on the Missouri side, on anywhere north of Interstate 70, they could be patchy in Missouri and Illinois. If you're traveling up north of Springfield, that the road conditions are not great there. So, but anywhere south of those points around St. Louis, states are okay. Maybe a little wet, and there could be some slick spots, especially on the twisty secondaries because of the mix of rain and snow we had during the overnight hours. So just use a little extra caution. But right now, traffic is light and on the go for you. Anywhere I'm looking, I'm not seeing any issues. Highway J at Mueller Road, there's a report of a tree down in the roadway. So again, they're dealing with things like that. We've had a few car slide-offs in Jefferson County, but nothing serious so far. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be windy and very cold throughout the day today with a good deal of clouds. Might be a flurry or two this morning, a high near 30, and a very cold night tonight, especially for the middle of March. Clear to partly cloudy, a bit of a breeze, low 16. Cold tomorrow with sunshine followed by clouds, high only 38, but much warmer heading into Wednesday with a good deal of sunshine, high up to 67. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy skies this morning, 27 in Florissant, 24 in St. Peters, 27 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:12. The drama surrounding the closure of the Last Hotel on Washington Avenue may be over for now. It's been sold to a Georgia-based investment firm for $14 million. The Last Hotel in the Old International Shoe Company opened to much fanfare in 2019 and closed in March of last year over a legal dispute between the hotel's partners. One of those partners had been looking for a buyer for the property since 2022.
The St. Louis Fire Collapse Rescue Task Force responded to a two-story building collapse onto an occupied home in the 2900 block of Sheridan Sunday evening. Battalion 1 reports all searches, including those conducted with a K-9 unit, were completed and no one was found. One pediatric patient was transported non-urgently to the hospital for precautionary observation. The building division and both utilities responded, as did the Red Cross, to assist a displaced family of 4 that were in the occupied home.
Attention Belleville Fire, respond for investigation. 18:30.
Shortly after 6 Sunday night, Belleville firefighters responded to a home fire reportedly caused by downed power lines. There were no reports of injuries.
St. Louis's largest airline will stop flying to one of the world's largest airports.
Southwest says it'll discontinue service to and from Chicago's O'Hare starting June 4th. The company cites the challenges of operating at the country's busiest airport and its ongoing efforts to refine its network. Southwest began service at O'Hare 5 years ago, but the airline has recently struggled financially and had to abandon its open seating model. The FAA, meanwhile, is talking about putting caps on flights at O'Hare anyway because it's at full capacity. Southwest will continue to fly in and out of Chicago's Midway, where it already serves 80 destinations. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
The concerns are rising, as are the oil prices, amid the uncertainty of the war with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz closure. John Boyd Jr. is founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association and says farmers were already struggling with the tariffs. He tells CNN that 63 farmers are losing their farms every day.
Right now, I have a seed bill that I really haven't satisfied from last year. And the administration says farmers are going to get this $12 billion for row crop farmers. I am one of them row crop farmers, and $1 billion for other specialty crops. But keep in mind, farmers lost $54 billion just in soybeans. That doesn't count corn and wheat and beef cattle, all these things.
Boyd says this is a compounding problem and says America lost 15,000 farmers last year, yet no one is talking about it.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's start with college basketball. St. Louis University, the Billikens are back in the NCAA tournament. They will play on Thursday at 8:45 Central Time. We will have it for you on KMOX. SLU is the 9 seed in the Midwest, starting out their games in Buffalo, New York, however, as they play Georgia there on Thursday night. If they win, SLU is likely matched up against the number 1 seed Michigan on Saturday. The Sweet 16 is in Chicago this year if they can get out of Buffalo. Missouri gets handed a beautiful situation. They are the number 10 seed in the West region. They'll play their first round game and potentially second round game in St. Louis. They'll play at Enterprise Center against Miami, Florida, the late game on Friday, 9:10 Central Time. And if Mizzou gets by the Hurricanes, they will likely get the 2 seed Purdue next. Kentucky, another team that is featured in the St. Louis region this year, as the West region will play its Sweet 16 games in San Jose, but St. Louis gets the first and second round of the NCAA tournament Friday and Sunday at Enterprise Center. And as for Illinois, they are the number 3 seed in the South. They'll play the 14th seed Penn, the Ivy League champion, on Thursday. Game time for that one, approximately 8:25 Central Time. Illinois plays either North Carolina or VCU in the next round, and if they can get past that, they'll go to the Sweet 16, where the University of Houston awaits as a possible 2 seed in Houston. That's a look at the NCAA tournament, just the 3 local teams in what should be an exciting tournament bracket. Here in Florida, the Cardinals beat the Nationals 6-3. Nelson Velazquez did it again. A home run to left was his 4th of the spring. He's making a case for not only making this team, but possibly starting in the outfield. Here's manager Ollie Marmol.
He just continues to put it together. Short swing, continues to impact the ball. I like his overall vibe and energy in that dugout too. He's done a really nice job of integrating himself with our guys and becoming kind of part of what's going on. So I'm happy as to where that's at the moment.
Yesterday in Jupiter, Marmol had Velazquez in left, Victor Scott in center, Nathan Church in right. Jordan Walker missed another game working in the cages, the hitting lab, if you will, with a chance to collect data on his swing and see if they can get him corrected before the start of the season. The Cardinals have the day off today. They'll play the Nationals again tomorrow in West Palm Beach. The United States beat the Dominican Republic at the World Baseball Classic 2-1, advancing to the final to play either Venezuela or Italy. Those 2 teams meet tonight. Paul Skeens slowed down the Dominican offense yesterday. He went 4 1/3, allowed 1 run on 6 hits. Mason Miller closed out a strong bullpen effort with 2 strikeouts in the 9th. Gunnar Henderson and Roman Anthony had solo home runs for the U.S. The Blues lost at Winnipeg 3-2. In Florida, I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Monday morning, let's see what problems are out there for you on the roads, if any. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, right now, interstate-wise, Megan, we're in good shape. I'm not seeing an issue so far. This traffic reports the service of the Woodlands of Arnold Senior Living. Do have a report of a crash. I can't see it right now, but westbound 370 near 94 or near 3rd Street, they're saying. So just watch as you come across the Discovery Bridge. But again, I don't see any delays. It was reported westbound. More folks will be going eastbound this time of day. Eastbound 70, that looks good. Coming in from Warrenton through the work zone down south, 55 around Festus, north of Bayless. Everything's good to go there. 64 in Fairview Heights. Everything's rolling for you at that point. Again, less well-traveled side roads could be a little slippery. You know, we've had a rain-snow mix during the overnight hours, so just be careful. But right now, I'm not having or seeing any reports of any serious problems out there for you. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
Well, if you haven't poked your head outside yet, it's cold out there this morning, much colder than the air temperature for sure. We're only going to get up to about 30 today, a passing flurry or two this morning. It's going to be mostly cloudy and windy. Again, today's high 30, 16 overnight. Tomorrow for St. Patrick's Day, if you're going to the Ancient Order of Hibernians parade, it's going to be cold. We'll have a little bit of sun tomorrow to start and then increase in clouds with a high of 38. Then 67 Wednesday, 74 Monday, 82 on Friday. Currently, it's 26 degrees. It feels like 5.
So at 6:22, let's head back to where it's warmer. Spring training facilities at Jupiter, Florida. KMOX's Tom Ackerman and Cardinals president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom.
The other right-handed bat that's intriguing is Nelson Velazquez. Now, if you were to add him, then you have to make another move because he's not on the 40-man.
Yeah, and these are things that we do have to factor in, knowing it is a marathon and there's going to be opportunity throughout the year. But we brought him in here for a reason, and he has really looked good, and he has opened everybody's eyes. You know, we did know there was upside to the bat. He's still young for a minor league free agent, and for him to come in here and show the way he has been great. He hasn't really been tested on defense, but he's looked good with the opportunities that he's had. He's looked like an athlete. And so really only good things to say about how he's gone about his work and obviously results. And it's nice to see that. That's what you hope you get when you carve out an opportunity for somebody like this, is that they have really, they have a really good spring and they give you a tough decision at the end of camp.
We all know the story of Jordan Walker. We've been watching it since the day he was drafted, the day that he was made this team. I can still see it. He's standing outside the bus in West Palm Beach talking about making the club. He's struggling. I mean, we've seen it. How do you view the situation right now with Jordan?
You know, the thing I will say about Jordan this spring, obviously the results have been what they've been. We've all seen that, and he would be the first to tell you if he were sitting here that this is not how he wanted his spring to go. The one thing that I go back to is the quality of the work behind the scenes is on a different level from what we've seen from Jordan in the past, and that's a really good thing. It does eventually at some point need to translate to the field, and he knows that better than anybody. But if you're having a spring like this and the right kind of work is not there, you know, then you're not putting yourself in a good position. But he's been doing the things that we've been asking of him, and that makes you want to give someone like that more rope, because we know what the talent is. And if he's putting in work and committed to it and bought in a way that I don't think we've seen from him as consistently, that's admirable, especially because the results haven't translated. That he continues to grind, and he continues to communicate well, and he continues to try to put these things into action, take them from the cage to the field. You know, I've said it a lot, and we all want this talent to be realized here with us. And the work he's putting in, I think, is going to get him a long way towards doing that. Just hasn't shown up on the field yet. And that's obviously not what we wanted to see. But the one thing, like I said, he is putting in the work, and it's been good work and a higher level of work than I think we've seen from him in the past.
we obviously have seen, I mentioned Velasquez, we've seen Nathan Church, we've seen Jose Fermin, I mentioned Sajasi. There are other possibilities out there in the outfield as this thing sort of comes to a conclusion as to where everybody will be. It's still, we're sitting here on Sunday. There's another week of camp, so we'll talk about that when we have to. Last thing, though, is as we get closer to opening day, and we're not too far away, how do you envision connecting with your fan base and getting people to the ballpark? Opening day is what it is. It's a phenomenal ceremony. Then beyond that, what do you see fans? What would you want? What is your hope for the Cardinals and their fans to come back together?
Yeah, well, the one thing that I have learned, you kind of know it from the outside, but the last couple of years learned beyond any doubt, and especially this winter now being a little more front and center, is how much this fan base cares about this team. And I think, frankly, the reason that hasn't been reflected in terms of attendance in recent years is they're not happy with where we are. Well, neither are we, but the care is still there. So it's on us to match that with intensity of our own so that fans feel how much we are doing to get this thing back where it belongs. I think on the field, I think hopefully, and this is a fan base again that always rallies around young players, homegrown players, and we're going to have those guys on the field every night, and we're going to have players that are going to be able to show you some interesting things, and there's going to be the upside of them doing interesting things on a daily basis. Beyond that, I want our whole organization, whether you're watching us play, whether you're trying to figure out what we're doing behind the scenes in the front office, I want our whole organization to demonstrate that level of getting after it. We talk a lot about style of play. We talked about it internally. We talk about it externally. We need to be a team that is exhausting to play against. And that's how we're trying to go about our work within the front office. That even if we're doing something long range, even if we're doing something incredibly unsexy behind the scenes, that we are tackling it with a lot of energy, that we're going after it like it's our game 7. That's really important to how we work. That needs to be really important to how we play, that we are competing every day, and not just as a cliche, but something that the opposition can feel and something that our fans can feel. And, I would hope that when we're doing that, I know we have the type of fans that will see that will rally around it. We obviously need to produce. We obviously need this product to be something that people want to come see. We do not feel entitled to anybody's eyeballs or their evenings or their dollars. That's something that we have to earn, but we're going to get after it to try to earn that every single day.
It is 6:27. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. And if that fence or deck or whatever that you've been needing to get repaired or replaced didn't last through the windstorms of yesterday, another reason to call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They do great work, and they have been around for 58 years now, a fourth-generation family-owned company. And the reason they offer you a real value for your money is that when they build it, it will be quality work that lasts for a long time, not a project that starts to splinter and warp and pop nails after a season. Whether you're looking for a fence, a deck, a patio, pergola, sunroom, screen room, you name it, they can do it in your outdoor space. And they'll come to you if you would like them to pop over and do some free project design and free in-home estimates, or stop by their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley. Get a really good idea of what they can do for you and what it might look like. 48 months interest-free financing is yours if you mention me, Debbie Monterrey. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Find them right now at chesterfieldfence.com.
My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. Got that Febreze car on the vents, living life with that just clean freshness. Febreze car, if you know, you know, up to 40 days a cent on low. My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. That's right, breathe happy Febreze, la 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 la. Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Looking for a career change? Well, the Gelman team with eXp Realty is hiring. Their unmatched blueprint to success, real support, and proven systems help agents take their business to the next level. Level up your future and earning potential. Take the first step at thegelmanteam.com.
At 6:30, we have cloudy skies, 27 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are in good shape on the highways. They're getting a little bit busier, but nothing really of any consequence. We did have a minor crash reported on 370 near 94. They said it was westbound. I can't see it, but I also finally don't see it. So obviously it looked fine there. And after that, of course, they've been working around our 141 there on 370, but right now it's good to go there. There's just a bit of a slowdown from Webb Road up to River to Pear on northbound to Highway 55, so that's not bad. On the Illinois side, things continue to roll along here. It still looks good through the O'Fallon Fairview Heights area on 64, downtown across the bridges, no delays. Don't forget, in about 30 minutes, I guess it's probably weather permitting, so I don't know if we'll get there started right at that time, but they're scheduled to shut down that intersection. Finally, they postponed this work. 157 and 162, that staggered intersection closed. Again, it's supposed to be at 7 a.m. this morning. This will be a long-term situation, though. The east side of the intersection will remain closed through October of this year, and the west side of the intersection will remain closed through July of next year. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We could still see some flurries this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy, windy, and very cold today, a high only reaching 30. Breezy this evening, clear to partly cloudy, otherwise very cold, an overnight low of 16. And then tomorrow for your St. Patrick's Day, cold with sun followed by increasing clouds as we head through the day, a high only around 38. Right now we have cloudy skies, 27 degrees downtown at the Arch.
That's only a snippet of the turmoil in Bedlam in downtown North and South St. Louis Saturday night as the city was marking 314 Day.
In less than 12 hours, the chaos ran rampant with large crowds of juveniles taking over the streets. 7 people were shot, including a 14-year-old girl. St. Louis police spokesman Mitch McCoy tells KMOX after people were shot, they were being dropped off at hospitals. And in one case, the shooting at 9th and Branch.
Later, around 4:45 a.m., officers responded to a hospital after a 19-year-old male arrived with gunshot wounds. When officers arrived and interviewed the victim, he stated he had been attending a street takeover near 9th and Branch when attendees started shooting. The victim stated when the shooting started, multiple other people started shooting from all different directions, and suddenly he was shot. The victim stated after he was shot, one of his friends took him to the hospital. He is in stable condition. The last shooting leads us to providing you an update on numerous street takeovers that occurred last night. As officers were handling the mass juvenile gathering in the Baden neighborhood, multiple vehicles took over a street near Morgan Ford and Gravois. For approximately 15 to 20 minutes, the St. Louis 911 received several calls for vehicles driving recklessly and fireworks being discharged. One woman hanging out of a vehicle that crashed as a result of reckless driving was ejected from the vehicle. She was taken to the hospital with numerous injuries. Relatively quickly, our officers from South Patrol were able to develop a plan and break up the gathering.
McCoy says there were also street takeovers at Cary and Broadway, 13th and Cass, and 13th at O'Fallon. He adds, task force officers spiked 50 vehicles. Maria Akita, KMOX News.
St. Louis firefighters had a busy Sunday. Gusty winds didn't help. A first alarm in the 4,000 block of Labadie. Here's Captain Garen Mosby.
Vacant 2-story, 4-family brick building. Heavy fire throughout, exposure buildings. It's buildings on both side exposures.
The second fire on Sunday at North Kings Highway and St. Louis Avenue was in a vacant 2-story building. When firefighters arrived, there was heavy fire coming from the first and second floors. No injuries reported in either of those blazes.
The news is sponsored for you by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute from Bloomberg is coming up next. Stay with us here on Total Information AM.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have
a wife or a significant other.
Yeah.
They're just a huge problem in your life. And then you win the giant jackpot. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are talking about colorectal cancer, and joining us is Dr. Jean Wang, a WashU Medicine gastroenterologist at Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. Wang, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
We want to talk about the importance of screening. At what age, Dr. Wang, should people consider getting a screening for colorectal cancer?
So the current national guidelines recommend that people start screening at 45 years old. And this is a new change that just happened in the last few years, because it used to be 50 years that we would start. But the reason why the new guidelines now recommend starting at age 45 is that we're seeing younger and younger patients get diagnosed with colorectal cancer. So we want to start screening people earlier, and that way we can prevent them from getting this terrible disease.
For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
6:36, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Energy Secretary Chris Wright has signaled the war in Iran may last several more weeks, with oil and gasoline prices elevated. But he says it's a small pain for a larger goal to eliminate Iran's military capabilities. Brent crude closed at more than $103 a barrel Friday and could keep soaring as long as the critical Strait of Hormuz remains closed. Goldman Sachs says the war could also deal significant blows to the Gulf's biggest economies if this doesn't end soon. Qatar and Kuwait could see their gross domestic product contract by 14% this year, while Saudi Arabia and the UAE will likely see drops between 3 and 5%. This could be the worst economic slump for these countries since the early 90s. And Federal Reserve policymakers are set to meet later this week and are widely expected to hold rates steady to incorporate impacts from this war. According to a Bloomberg News survey, economists believe the Fed's next interest rate may not be till June, but they still see 2 quarter-point reductions by the end of the year. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
It's Tom Ackerman. You know, in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm always careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. The Lederman Law Firm. Let's be honest, life changes, families and circumstances change, needs change, laws change. Estate plans don't change over time as needs change. They're outdated. They sit in a drawer. People assume they're fine. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. I highly recommend the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, Those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Nicholas joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It's now 6:40. Let's see how things are moving on the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they look great out there right now, Megan. There aren't any issues on the interstates in our immediate metro area. In fact, last report I mentioned, there was just a hint of a slowdown 55 coming up to Weber Road around River de Pere. That looks like it's thinned out since I spoke to you last. Seeing a little backup on northbound Telegraph right through Jaeger. So just watch for maybe some restrictions or maybe it's signal problems. It wouldn't surprise me with the winds we've had. There could be signal issues. I know we had a tree down Jay at Mueller Road in I think that's St. Francis County. So there are issues like that around, obviously. But interstate-wise, traveling around is a good bet in the metro area. Now, again, if you're traveling in Missouri north of Interstate 70 and in Illinois anywhere pretty much north of Springfield, road conditions are not optimal. They're partially or completely covered, with light coatings of snow and maybe more than light in northern Illinois. So if you're planning a trip out state in either of those areas, just be prepared for changeable conditions, and it's not going to be favorable, unfortunately. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It is going on 6:42. Let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Brian Thompson. And how many seasons do you think we can squeeze into just a few days?
Looks like at least 2 or 3, Debbie, as we have temperatures. Believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe right now as we're sitting with real field temperatures near 0, but we're talking about 80s in the forecast again by Friday. So a big change coming our way later in the week. Not only is it cold, it is windy this morning. As Roger was talking about, we have winds that are still gusting upwards of 40 miles per hour. We have a lot of flurries around too. Most of what's around is very light, so can't completely rule out a slick spot or two this morning. But again, for the most part, just some flurries around. Mostly cloudy, a windy, very cold day. High temperature at best 30 degrees today. Clear to partly cloudy and still brisk tonight, but the breeze is going to be diminishing, a low of 16. And a cold St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, but I think it's going to feel a lot better because it won't be nearly as windy. Sunshine will give way to clouds, high 38. And it's going to feel a lot better on Wednesday, a high of 67 with sunshine and a few clouds. And it warms up even more Thursday and Friday with sunshine, 74 Thursday, 82 on Friday. Right now it is 24 in St. Peter's, 25 in Florissant. We have some flurries and 24 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on 104.1 FM KMOX.
More news now at 6:43. A poll showing prenatal care avoidance because of immigration and customs.
1 in 5 pregnant women surveyed by Baby Center say recent ICE activity has deterred them from seeking prenatal care, and that carries risk.
Checkups during pregnancy to look for signs of serious conditions, gestational diabetes or preeclampsia. These can be life-threatening if they're left untreated.
Baby Center's Caroline Picard says for those afraid to venture out, there are options.
Take advantage of home visiting programs in your area. Of course, telehealth options. There are home monitoring tools you can use.
Stephen Kaufman, CBS News.
A nationwide shortage of estrogen patches has menopausal women scrambling.
A study by Epic Research found the number of women using hormone replacement therapy has jumped by 72% in the past 5 years, creating a supply chain issue for women like Marty Jo Panisi of Glendale, California.
If the world experienced men losing all their testosterone at once, it would be a whole different story.
Dr. Jessica Shepard urges women with menopause or perimenopause to seek different estrogen options if their pharmacy can't find patches.
In the form of a cream, a gel, a pill, even a pellet.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Getting on or off an organ donation list is more complicated than just checking or not checking that box when you get your driver's license. There's no set standard on how a state records a person's decision to opt in or when they opt out because it's a patchwork of state policies. Dr. Celine Gounder is a CBS News medical contributor and editor-at-large for KFF Health News. She says a person's wishes may not always be followed because the most current choice isn't always easily available.
If someone changes their mind, say switching from yes to no, that newer decision might not always be visible everywhere it needs to be.
Congress and federal regulators are considering changes to the nation's organ donation system, including how consent is recorded and what should happen when a donor changes their mind.
I'm Tom Ackerman in Florida. Let's start with college basketball and talk about the number 1 seeds, Duke, Arizona, Michigan, and defending champion Florida. They are all on the top line. Miami of Ohio, they get in despite a 31-1 record and maybe a little chip on its shoulder. The underdogs are in the NCAA tournament. They are an 11 seed. They will have to play a first 4 game to prove that they belong. They will take on SMU on Wednesday. A lot of debate about them after going undefeated and losing in the first round of the MAC tournament, but they get in. Miami of Ohio is in the NCAA tournament. So is St. Louis University. The Billikens had a very good year, stumbled a little bit down the stretch, lost in the semifinals of the A-10 tournament in heartbreaking fashion to Dayton. It doesn't cost them too much. They are a 9 seed, but they will have to play in Buffalo, New York. They'll play the game on Thursday, 8:45 Central Time. We'll have it on KMOX. SLU, the 9 seed in the Midwest, will play Georgia on Thursday. If they win, they're likely matched up against the number 1 seed, Michigan, on Saturday. And the Sweet 16 in the Midwest is in Chicago. Missouri, what a situation they get handed. They are the 10 seed in the West, but they get to play their first round game in St. Louis. Enterprise Center, they'll play Miami, Florida on Friday night at 9:10 Central Time. If they get by the Hurricanes, they'll get Purdue likely next. Purdue is the 2 seed in St. Louis, a situation that also sees St. Louis getting Kentucky. The West region plays its Sweet 16 games in San Jose. So again, SLU will play Georgia in Buffalo on Thursday at 8:45. Mizzou plays Friday night at 9:10 here in St. Louis against Miami, Florida. And Illinois will play in Greenville, South Carolina as the 3 seed in the South. They get the Ivy League champion Penn, approximately 8:25 Central Time start on Thursday night. And if they get by Penn, they play either North Carolina or VCU. The Sweet 16 is in Houston, and the University of Houston is there. So a tough road for Illinois, a tough road for SLU, and an easier at least start for Missouri getting to play at home. Here in Florida, the Cardinals beat the Nationals 6-3. Nelson Velasquez with a home run. Decent start for Richard Fitz. And the Cardinals made some bullpen moves. They reassigned Packy Naughton. They optioned Ryan Fernandez to Memphis. And an intriguing right-handed arm, Luis Gastelum, is reassigned to minor league camp.
Handled himself well, didn't speed up when given opportunities, just was himself, and he's kind of confident in what he does and brings to the table, but communicates well with that group. And that pitch is a real pitch. He knows it. Hitters know it. And at some point, we'll be able to see it.
That pitch is a devastating changeup. Gastelum was part of Team Mexico at the WBC last night. The U.S. beat Dominican Republic 2-1 to advance to the final to play the winner of Venezuela and Italy. The Blues lost to Winnipeg on the road 3-2. In Florida with the Cardinals, I'm Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems. And we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives. Join us for the Rally With Us MLB Opening Day events on March 25th, 9 to 1 p.m. at the Rally House Brentwood Point location. There'll be a live broadcast, giveaways, and the first 100 customers through the doors receive a Valley House Opening Day scratcher ticket. And don't forget to pick up your Opening Day gear while you stop in. Rally House is your home for outrageously authentic Cardinals gear, on-field hats, jerseys, and apparel straight from the source. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:50 and time for us to get you updated on traffic and weather. I can tell you that the weather is very windy and cold this morning, so be prepared. Let's get the latest on the roads from Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's a pretty easygoing morning out there so far, Debbie. This traffic reports a service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Now, of course, the weather may not be optimal. The weather's, we've had rain, snow mix overnight, colder temperatures, so road conditions could be a little dicey. I haven't heard any problems about interstates. Had a couple of slide-offs on the secondaries, but other than that, things were doing well, like I said, interstate-wise, and even in the construction zones. As I look around the area, 55 down at Festus, north of Bayless, still looks okay. It's a little slow. North 270 approaching 64 to the Ladue area. Eastbound 70 out west coming in from Warrenton's fine. 370 around our city's okay. 64 through the O'Fallon Fairview Heights area looks good. And again, if you're not in the work zones, the rest of the interstates are lightly occupied that they continue to cruise along for you as well. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your deck or project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, we may see a few more flurries this morning. Otherwise, for the rest of the day, it's going to be mostly cloudy, windy, and cold with a high of 30. Breezy this evening. Clear to partly cloudy, very cold overnight, an overnight low of 16. And then tomorrow, cold with sun, then some increasing clouds as we head through the day. Expect a high only around 38 degrees. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 27 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:52 and time for us to check in with our CBS News business analyst. That would be Jill Schlesinger. And I was doing this over the weekend, Jill, getting my tax information together.
How'd that feel?
Oh, I put it off as long as I could. I was like, well, it's storming and I can't really leave the house. So I guess I'll sit down and get my stuff together. But
yes, and it is a lot. It's funny as you go through it. I know that all of us feel that anxiety, like, oh gosh, I hate doing this. But it's an interesting thing that the criminals out there, the scammers, they know that we get very emotional around this time, and we are sort of nervous about doing this in some level, right? Like there's sort of like the hassle of it, but also the low-level anxiety. And criminals are so smart, they kind of tap into that. So I just want to have a warning to everybody that obviously we know that scammers are out during this time of year, and the IRS comes out with this list of like the most prevalent scams. They call it their dirty dozen. So I want to put it out there that even if you've already filed your taxes, the scammers are at it because they'll say, oh, it's the IRS and here I am. And like, we had a problem with your return or whatever. And they're really just trying to get you to click on things, engage in some way. So the most important thing that I can say to everyone is that think of this like defensive driving. You're going to go out, you're going to teach your kid how to drive. You're going to say, okay, just check around. That's kind of how you approach tax season. And know that the IRS communicates in one main way, through the United States Postal Service. Really boring, right? Old school snail mail. They are not texting you. They are not calling you. They are not DMing you on social media. And so if you have any kind of communication outside of that United States Postal Service methodology, you should really see that as a red flag.
I worry too about the people who are looking for cheaper or free ways of filing, because there's a lot of things on the internet that promise to file your stuff for you for free.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny that the IRS flagged this recently. This is kind of a newfangled kind of thing. What they're calling it is ghost tax preparers. And what that means is that these are folks who are kind of luring you with like those promises. Oh, I'll get you your refund. Oh, I know the tax credits that you don't know, blah, 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 which is all nonsense. Because if you just use IRS free file, you're going to get most of this anyway. But the other thing they'll do is they'll get your personal information from you. They'll capture it. They'll send you a return. It looks like a return that you would file. You look down and the tax preparer does not sign it. By law, any IRS legitimate tax preparer has to sign the return. If they're not signing the return, huge red flag. And, listen, gang, come on. Be wary of anyone who promises these big paydays. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
You can always get more information at jillonmoney.com/blog. Have a great week, Jill. Thanks for the info.
Take care.
It is now 6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
And today's birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. And birthdays today for this Monday, March 16th include actor Eric Estrada, 77 years old. We used to think he was such a hunk.
Punch.
Rock musician Nancy Wilson, 72. Rapper, actor Flava Flav is 67. And rock musician Wolfgang Van Halen is 35.
Remember, you can send those birthdays or anniversaries to totalam@kmox.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Margie Carthy of Shiloh, Bob Winchell from the Spring family, Robin Mackey from Patty and Jenna and Jada, and Sue Weimerslage from the Life Group.
This is the best birthday ever.
They say good things come to those who wait, unless you bite into a Hot Pocket right out of the microwave. Waiting to see a financial advisor about retirement could also bring some pain. The pain of watching your money evaporate in a stock market decline. The pain of trying to figure out Social Security and Medicare on your own. Or the pain of writing huge checks to the IRS that you really didn't have to. At the All Financial Group, they believe the more you know, the better decisions they can make. They offer a complimentary retirement assessment. Find out where you are, how you're doing, and if there's a way to improve your retirement outcome. Don't wait. Call the All Financial Group today, 636-230-8824, or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com and set up your complimentary retirement review.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime, She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter. Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Illinois.
Let's see how things are rolling on the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're still okay, Megan. Lighter traffic right now. It's just a little busy on northbound 270 as you approach 64 up to Ladue in the construction zone there. 55 around River to Paris still doesn't look that bad. If you're traveling in on 370 coming through that Earth City area or 141 area, just past the Discovery Bridge, okay, although we had a report of a minor crash westbound, but I still haven't seen delays there. 64 in Fairview Heights still doesn't look bad either. Don't forget, this is the hour coming up. They're scheduled to start working at 157 and 162 and have that interchange closed for a long duration. Next update at 7:10, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin in the Middle East, where oil shipments are now paralyzed as the war with Iran heats up. Correspondent Charlie D'Agata is in Tel Aviv.
The U.S. and Israel's bombing campaign across Iran shows no sign of slowing. Explosions across Lebanon, too, in Israel's other war against Iran's proxy Hezbollah, with more than 850 killed.
President Trump pushing NATO allies to help the U.S. reopen the vital Strait of Hormuz. It's used to transport about a third of the world's oil. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
We are working with others to come up with a credible plan for the Straits of Hormuz to ensure that we can reopen shipping and passage through the strait. Let me be clear. That won't be, and it's never been envisaged to be, a NATO mission.
President Trump says the consequences could be, in his words, very bad for NATO countries that refuse to help. Brent crude touched 105 today. National average for a gallon of gas up 25 cents from a week ago to $3.72 a gallon. Last night's Academy Awards on ABC belonged to a movie about a political revolution. One battle after another won 6 prizes, including Best Picture and Best Director for Paul Thomas Anderson.
The Oscar goes to One Battle After Another.
The star of Sinners, Michael B. Jordan, won his very first Oscar.
Thank you, everybody in this room and everybody at home, for supporting me over my career. I feel it.
Sinners' Autumn Durald Arkapaw, who's Black, is the first woman to win an Oscar for cinematography.
A lot of little girls that look like me will sleep really well tonight because they'll want to become cinematographers.
There's pressure from across the Atlantic over the Epstein files.
The head of London's police force is traveling to Washington this week to press the Justice Department to speed up the release of any Epstein files pertaining to the convicted sex offender's links to Peter Mandelson, former ambassador to the U.S. This amid allegations that Mandelson may have shared sensitive government information with Epstein while serving as Britain's business secretary. Similar claims led to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's arrest last month. He's still under investigation by a different police force here. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
Spring is 4 days out, and they're dealing with blizzard conditions in places like Eagle River, Wisconsin. Bracing for dangerous weather in the east, too. CBS meteorologist Lonnie Quinn.
The highest risk for tornadoes and the worst severe weather anywhere from, say, around South Carolina up to Washington, D.C. around 5 o'clock this afternoon, with the tough weather even stretching into New York City. It's offshore by the time we get to about 2 a.m.
Dow futures up 270. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Mornings.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday for the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
At 7:04, we have cloudy skies, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, March 16th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey, and these are the stories making news. Thousands of Ackerman customers in Missouri and Illinois are still without power after Sunday's severe storms. And we have, an update for you about almost 3,000 customers still without power in Missouri, about 1,750 customers in Illinois without power. No indication yet as to when that power will be restored.
Tornado sirens in 3 Illinois towns did not sound during yesterday's severe weather watch. In a Facebook post, the Lincoln County Emergency Management Agency says the sirens in Troy, Winfield, and Moscow Mills did not go off yesterday. However, they say sirens in Hawk Point and Ellsbury did. The agency and 911 dispatch reviewing and testing logs to figure out what went wrong. In the post, they remind residents that outdoor warning sirens should not be their only source of warning and that they should have multiple ways to receive severe weather alerts.
A flamethrower, fireworks, and a ring of fire lit on a parking lot as car after car spun out doing high-risk maneuvers with dozens of people standing by.
That was how hundreds of juveniles and others decided to celebrate 314 Day. St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says 7 people were shot, including a 14-year-old girl, and there were numerous street takeovers.
In addition to Morgan Ford and Gravois, there were street takeovers at Cary and Broadway, 13th and O'Fallon, and 13th and Cass. Officers assigned to Mobile Reserve and detectives with the Anti-Crime Task Force spiked about 50 vehicles, 50 vehicles, engaged in reckless behavior because they were fleeing law enforcement.
McCoy says the recurring theme, juveniles without their parents.
Our officers should not be your babysitter. Our city is not a playground, and this type of violence is absolutely unacceptable. On a day like 314 Day, it's heartbreaking to see what unfolded because St. Louis can do so much better. To the parents listening today, please step up and do your part. Last night, 2 teenagers, a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old, were shot in completely different, unrelated incidents.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Fire in 2 buildings. Defensive operations are underway.
St. Louis Fire Captain Garen Mosby yesterday morning at the scene of a 1-alarm fire in a vacant building in the 4000 block of Labadie. Another fire broke out around the same time at North Kings Highway and St. Louis Avenue, another 2-story vacant building. There were no reports of injuries.
The St. Louis Fire Collapse Rescue Task Force responding to a building collapse yesterday in the 2900 block of Sheridan. The battalion chief reports an abandoned 2-story brick building collapsed onto an occupied single-story frame dwelling. All the occupants from the home that was occupied were accounted for outside the structure.
There were reports, though, of unhoused people possibly in that collapsed abandoned building. Members of the Fire Rescue Task Force and canines determined that was not the case. A child from the occupied home was taken to the hospital as a precaution.
Gas prices in St. Louis averaging $3.53 a gallon today, according to Gas Buddy. They say prices in the region have risen about 38 cents over the past week. The national average is about 15 cents higher, $3.68 a gallon. Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan reports gas prices will continue to rise until oil starts to flow again through the Strait of Hormuz.
From the KMOX Business Desk, plans afoot for the 217-acre former Emerson campus in Ferguson. SSL Investments of Webster Groves, tied to Onder Law, has eyes on a mixed-use development, although few details have been released. According to the Business Journal, SSL asking for 15 years of property tax abatement and other incentives on the property it's purchasing for around $18 million. The property owned by Copeland, an Emerson spinoff, and would be an anchor office tenant.
It is 7:08, and we'll check traffic and weather in just 2 minutes. And also, when can you smoke in a no smoking facility? That story's on the way.
Okay, I have some really good news Well, we do have the 0% a lot. We do have it on our regular products because you will be unbelievably shocked, especially if you call me and I'll give you the straight up scoop on how much money you can actually save by if you spent $20,000 versus $10,000 on a system. The difference could be as little as, I don't know, let's just say, not to exaggerate, 5 cents. So be careful out there, and always remember your energy savings is based on your house. It is not based on the equipment. So common sense advice and help and guidance. Again, call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest, 314-293-2600. Again, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, that is bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive, and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's get a check of the roads. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it looks like we're back to having another train crossing on Route 3 at Monsanto, Megan. So northbound Route 3, you got a pretty good-sized jam. It's jammed back to Judith right now. If you're headed up that way, just be prepared. Hopefully it won't be out there too long. Of course, southbound isn't as bad. It's not even, well, maybe it's at 8th Street. I'm also seeing a little bit of a backup on Lindbergh at Eddy and Park. As you're coming northbound on Lindbergh there, a little backup on northbound 270. It's actually the ramp from 64 onto North 270. It looks like we have an incident. I can't tell if it's a stall or a crash at the end of the ramp. The ramp is backing up. The through lanes headed into the work zone there on North 270 still look okay. And in the other work zones, we still look okay. 55, Festus, north of Bayless is okay. 64, the O'Fallon, Fairview Heights area. I'm not seeing any delay so far either. Next update is 720 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. There might be a flurry or two around this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy, windy, and very cold, up to 30 for a high this afternoon. Will be brisk tonight, clear to partly cloudy, very cold, 16 degrees, the overnight low. Still running on the colder side tomorrow for St. Patrick's Day. Sunshine will be followed by increasing clouds, high 38. Much warmer on Wednesday, a nice day with sunshine, high 67. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Yep, it's snowing in downtown St. Louis, and it's blowing around, too. Wow. It is cold out there right now with the snow. It's 25 degrees, feels like 4.
7:12 now. A precautionary boil water advisory still in effect for portions of St. Louis City due to low water pressure caused by a broken water main. Some of the affected neighborhoods include Lindenwood Park, Northampton, St. Louis Hills. The boundaries are Jameson Avenue, Filer, Hampton, and Loughborough Avenue on the south. Although no contamination has been detected, that advisory has been issued out of caution, the advisory in effect until further notice.
Outgoing St. Louis County Executive Sam Page has reversed course on the idea of merging the city and county.
Page used to be opposed to a merger, but now he supports it. Still, given the history of this issue, is it realistic? KMOX Republican analyst John Hancock says he does see a path to consolidation, but it's going to take some time.
You're going to have to slowly build a consensus that needs to happen. I am marginally optimistic that it's going to happen within the next decade.
Democratic analyst Michael Kelly says financial circumstances may eventually force the city and county to join.
I'm hopeful that we're able to do it before we're a hospice patient. We're slipping towards that as the St. Louis region. So, who knows? Crisis sometimes is the best remedy. I'm hopeful and have my fingers crossed because I sure do love St. Louis, and I'd like it to survive.
The history is daunting. The city and county became separate governments in the 1870s, and merger talks have come and gone many times since then. But in addition to Page's endorsement, Mayor Kara Spencer says she's open to discussions about it. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
No smoking is allowed at the convention center unless you want to attract a major cigar convention to the city. The St. Louis Board of Aldermen on Friday gave preliminary approval to a bill that would amend the city's smoke-free ordinance. The bill would insert a very narrow exemption for time-limited, private, and ticketed convention or trade shows at the convention center.
Alderman Rasheen Aldridge, who sponsored the bill, tells the Business Journal this convention could bring more than 5,000 visitors, 1,200 jobs, and create more than $4 million of economic impact. Alderman Shane Cohen voted no, saying they spent hours and hours debating the original Smoke-Free Air Act and says no amount of filtration is going to take those carcinogens out of the air.
They've done sunflowers and corn mazes. Now Eckert's Farm in Belleville introduces the Tulip Trail. It's a new seasonal attraction where people can tiptoe through the tulips and pick bouquets of them. Company president Chris Eckert says they spent about $100,000 to develop the fields, which will open to the public on Friday, March 27th.
If you want professional photos in the flowers, special times can be booked. Dating back to 1841, Eckert's is one of the largest family-owned pick-your-own orchards in the country. It's 7:15.
I'm Tom Ackerman here in Florida. The Cardinals beat the Nationals 6-3 at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Richard Fitz outpitched former Cardinal Miles Michaelis. Fitz went 4 2/3, allowing only one hit. He did walk 3, struck out 5, and in all, he allowed 2 runs. I had a chance to catch up with Fitz.
I thought it was okay. I felt like I locked it in after the second inning. I guess I felt like getting my pitch count in today. So a little rough for the first 2, but I feel like I locked it in. Felt like I was into a real season outing of like, hey, like let's lock it in and really get after it. And so yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
Because that's how you judge yourself, isn't it? In spring training, how do you get out of situations when you're not going well initially?
That's a good question. I guess that's what we're all looking for. I guess just, locking it in and just saying like, hey, like, let's go out there. Let's stick to our strengths. Started throwing a lot more sliders and fastballs towards the end of the outing and was having success with it. So, that's something that in spring training, you're trying to learn when to use your weapons, how to use them. And, today was a great way to kind of learn how to use my weapons. And that's using the slider, using the fastball.
Last quick thing. What is your best weapon? You just said it, slider and then fastball, but I feel like you have a very heavy fastball. I mean, has that always been there?
Yeah, it's always been there. And right now I feel like my velo's, holding and well and going well. And so there's still a little bit, I think, to hone in, whether it be the location with the velo. Today when I'm really rearing back, trying to throw it by a guy, it's a little high and away. So, get locking in and getting in through the catcher instead of throwing it around him. So.
Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. No problem.
Cardinals pitcher Hunter Dobbins will start the season on the IL. He is recovering from a torn ACL he suffered last season. And the Cardinals made some bullpen moves. Packy Naughton reassigned to minor league camp. So was Luis Gastelum, and Ryan Fernandez was optioned to AAA Memphis. The World Baseball Classic, it was a win for the United States over the Dominican Republic, 2-1 in Miami. I went to the game, saw Paul Skeens slow down the Dominican offense, 4 1/3, allowed 1 run on 6 hits. Mason Miller closed out a strong bullpen effort, very questionable final strike, but it was very low. But he does get 2 strikeouts in the 9th, and the U.S. wins it over the DR. They'll play the winner of Italy and Venezuela. They go at it tonight. Meanwhile, the NCAA tournament, if you haven't seen by now, SLU is in. They play Thursday, 8:45 Central Time against Georgia. That game is in Buffalo, New York. Mizzou is also in, and they get a great situation. They're the 10 seed in the West. They play the first round and potentially second round in St. Louis. Enterprise Center, Miami, Florida, Friday night at 9:10 is their first game. The St. Louis games, by the way, Iowa State, Purdue, Kentucky, and Mizzou are all in town. So our city really benefits here. Sellouts expected. Illinois, the 3 seed in the South, they play their first game against Penn in Greenville, South Carolina. That game will be Thursday at 8:25 Central Time. The Blues lost 3-2 at Winnipeg yesterday. I'm Tom Ackerman in Florida on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And by Happy Roof. We always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Did you see the forecast? Another huge storm is tracking right for us.
I saw. Honestly, I'm not worried.
Not worried. Your roof is older than mine.
I called Happy Roof. They did a pre-storm inspection, caught a loose flashing that would have caused a major leak.
Wow, I really need that peace of mind.
Protect your happy place before the rain starts.
Booking my free inspection at thehappyroof.com or call 314-897-2310. It's all about the happy ending.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens and making memories.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's get you to work safely. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, so far so good, Megan, on the area highways. We continue to roll along. We're getting a little more volume, but it really does not look bad at all. In fact, the secondary is where I'm seeing the biggest issues. The only issue we have right now on the interstates is this incident. Can't tell again if it's a crash or a stall. It's at the end of the ramp from 64 onto northbound 270 right there. So it's impacting east and westbound 64 drivers if you're headed that way. Just be advised, you're going to find delays there. But the right lanes westbound are at Palace, eastbound's just on the ramp itself. North 55 still looks good in the work zones, Festus and north of Bayless. If you're out west on 70, you're good to go. 64 in the O'Fallon, Fairview Heights area. We still have the backed up traffic on Route 3 through Monsanto. Doesn't look as bad as it did, but it's still slow north of Jerome, headed up, and it backs up briefly through Monsanto. So it looks like the train is cleared. And I'm still seeing backups both directions on Telegraph at Yeager. Northbound is backed up to Baumgartner. It looks like it could be signal problems there. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
When we look at the forecast, it is once again a roller coaster ride of temperatures. Today, very cold. Let me look out the window here. I still see a few flurries flying around. It's going to be windy and cold, high of 30, 16 overnight. Tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day, is going to be cold with sun and increase in clouds, 38, then 67 Wednesday, 74 Thursday, and 82 on Friday. Right now, it's 25 degrees. It feels like 4.
The news continues now at 7:23. Farmers expressing concerns with the price of fuel and fertilizer, which continue to climb because of the war in Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz.
U.S. farmers have already been hit hard with tariffs. Now it's coupled with the war. John Boyd Jr. is the founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association.
We have 170 pending farm foreclosures. And I'm in Oklahoma meeting with 2 of those farmers who are facing farm foreclosure. And I want to send my condolences to the George Roberts family, a key member of the NBFA. We lost him, but we're in a troubled time, and we're losing 63 farmers a day. Anywhere in the United States, that would be a farm crisis.
Boyd tells CNN the USDA has not come up with any solutions, though the White House has said that they have solutions to this latest crisis.
Curtailing now the president's tariffs, I think, will help eventually, but right now we haven't seen any of those monies that the president is saying is going to come back to farmers. These billions of dollars that we lost in tariff revenue, the president says we're going to get it back.
Boyd says the farmers are struggling and the Trump administration is not coming to their aid. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Welcome back to Florida. Tom Ackerman with you. Let's take a deeper look at what's happening down here with the Cardinals. They do have some injuries, first of all, that they're trying to work through. Let's start with manager Ali Marmol as he gives us a rundown. The knee inflammation for Ivan Herrera, that has kept him out of the lineup, but it sounds like it shouldn't be long.
Herrera, he is progressing really well. He took 6 at-bats yesterday on the backfield, just bounced around from field to field and was able to do that, which was good. Did catching drills. He's going to do that again this morning, as well as run the bases, and then hit in the backfield games again. The hope is we have the off day, that maybe like a DH on the 17th and then catching on the 18th, depending on how his body responds to the next few days. But that's kind of what we're shooting for. Urias with the discomfort, kind of more of the top area of that elbow was from swings. Only discomfort was with swings, not throwing or anything else. So we're progressing him back into games. Our hope is it's similar to Herrera, like by the 18th, he's back in games, but he's hitting and doing everything right now.
Talking about Ramon Urias right there, the third baseman who has been dealing with some soreness but should be fine. Hunter Dobbins, Cardinals pitcher, is going to start the season on the IL. He's coming off a torn ACL suffered last season. He's pitching, but he hasn't been able to cover first base. That's how he got injured last year. So they're still working with him in terms of running around in the field, and he should be ready pretty soon. One other player of note would be Jordan Walker. He has been absent from the lineup, but not necessarily because of injury. He has just been struggling. And so the Cardinals have decided to work with him away from the stadium. Here's Ali Marmol.
Backfield stuff, mainly in the lab for the last 3 days. His first day back in the lineup will be when we get back from this off day. So we wanted to take about 3 days of just head down, working on stuff, and then see if we can carry it into a game after the off day.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So no ABs in the game up there?
Mainly our focus has been his work in the cage. Take the 3 days of not trying to practice something and put it in the game immediately, but allow it time to like really dive deep into where we're at and what truly needs to happen. Give him that little bit of a break to be able to just focus on that and not having to carry it into the game, in hopes that we can just the attention be there and then give him a date of when he's back in the lineup to try to implement it. So him and Brownie and BA and that entire group and Casey felt pretty adamant about it, so we accommodated it.
He mentioned in there the hitting lab. What is that? That is an area where the Cardinals, not just a batting cage, but they can collect data, really lock in on the swing and analyze what's wrong with the player or what's going well for a player. And it's a chance for a player to get out of the in-game environment, really concentrate on what can be better so that he can, Jordan Walker can, be better going into the season with his swing and feel good about it. Here's Marmol.
Yeah, they're still getting to that top end number, just not all of it in the stadium, because they're getting some decent work out in the back too. So they're still getting close to that, but some of it is just rotating through the backfield and getting at bats. The traject is more of a training tool. Like, we don't treat that as just like game at bats that are counting towards any. But having the lab is great from a monitoring progress and just kind of honing in on the details of what we're trying to work on and being able to actually measure it. So the last 3 days for Walker have been helpful. A lot has gone into it. So our hope is that we start to get on the other side of it.
That's the hope for the Cardinals and Jordan Walker. In Florida, I'm Tom Ackerman, KMOX Sports.
Thank you, Tom. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. It's 728.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Cardinals Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, it's that time of year again, man. It's starting to warm up. And you know the sun's getting a little brighter. I can hear the crack of the bat.
Yeah, the true pros are doing just a little bit of stretching here and there, getting rid of those winter kinks, getting ready for those days that really count, Eddie. I'm talking about the ones you'll always remember at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Boy, now you got that right. It is all they can do to get ready for the lineup of the delicious eats, man. It's a half-pound Fat Eddie burger. Man, it's a hot chick on a stick, that big elwood on a stick, and you know the succulent peel and eat shrimp are sitting over there on deck.
You do know I have to stretch out a little bit before I start hitting that dance floor, listening to that live music 7 days a week on that huge outdoor patio.
Well, it's like any other training, man. You got to warm up to get that party face on. It's really difficult out there to have that much fun on that warm, toasty patio. You know, like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, it's Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
It is now 7:30 and it's cold out there. We have got some flurries in the area. It's 25 degrees with the wind. It feels like 4. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're traveling on westbound 64, we still got this right lane backing up westbound 64 as you approach 270. There's an incident at the end of the ramp getting onto North 270, so it's impacting 64 both directions, but the westbound side, the delays are a little longer. Eastbound is just the ramp proper, but where the right lane is backed up through Ballast on westbound 64. North 270 is also slowing from the Clayton Road overpass up through that 64 area as you enter the construction zone. But again, the incident was at the end of the ramp, not in the through lanes of North 270. Northbound 270, other than that, is fine. It's wide open. South 270 still looks great. Northbound 55 at Festus and north of Bayless, everything's still moving along. Out west, southbound 61, eastbound 70, 64, all look great. Coming out of Wentzville for you on the Illinois side, westbound 64 through the Fairview Heights, O'Fallon area is still good to go. And downtown, we're still clear. Westbound across the bridges, even Route 3 is pretty well thinned out now. Coming up from Jerome through Monsanto, everything looks good. Just brief delays when the lights change at Queenie and Monsanto, but a good run there. Next update is 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have some flurries in the area. It's that cold, and it's going to be windy today with a high of 30 degrees. 16 overnight, 38 tomorrow for St. Patrick's Day. We'll start out with some sun, but increasing clouds, and then it warms up. 67 on Wednesday, 74 on Thursday, 82 on Friday. But right now it's 25 degrees, and it feels like 4.
It's 7:32. Thousands of Ackerman customers in Missouri and Illinois still in the dark following Sunday's severe storms. The outages blanket all areas of St. Louis and the Metro East. Ackerman reports more than 1,700 Illinois residents and nearly 3,000 Missouri residents are still without power. The numbers are down from 5 a.m. this morning when Ackerman reported both Missouri and Illinois had about 3,500 residents out of power. There's no indication when electrical service will be restored. However, Ackerman continues to update its outage map every 10 minutes.
Two vehicle crashes knocked down power lines this morning. Our partners at Fox 2 reporting that first crash occurred in Afton around 2 a.m. Initially, the crash knocked power out for more than 600 Ackerman customers. Ackerman reports that approximately 200 of those are still without power as on-site repair crews continue working on it.
A second crash occurred shortly before 2:30 this morning near Howdershell Road and Lynn Haven Lane. Ackerman reports more than 500 North St. Louis County residents still without power due to downed lines from that crash.
There are videos all over social media showing scenes of violence and mayhem from Baden to downtown to South St. Louis. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says it started around 9:30 Saturday night. 7 people were shot, including a 14 and a 17-year-old.
Just before 2 a.m., officers responded to 1911 Locust where a shooting just occurred. Officers located ballistic evidence in the street and were then notified by the hospital of 2 people arriving with gunshot wounds. A 24-year-old man and a 27-year-old man were both hit by shots and are at the hospital. At last check, they have non-life-threatening injuries. An investigation revealed that the 27-year-old, who is a convicted felon, was involved in a shootout with another man near the Marquee Lounge.
McCoy says there were numerous street takeovers from juveniles and others that included numerous shots being fired.
The officers were handling the mass juvenile gathering in the Baden neighborhood. Multiple vehicles took over a street near Morgan Ford and Gravois.
In addition to numerous shootings and guns being fired randomly, there were fireworks being set off. One video shows someone with a flamethrower.
It's now 7:33. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
100 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. A century of trust in St. Louis. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Trust your friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
It is 7:37. Sorry. Time for your money report sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Trade negotiations with China have started in Paris, led by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Trade Representative Jameson Greer. They're mapping out plans for President Trump's meeting later this month with China's President Xi Jinping and reviewing everything from tariffs to the war in Iran. Airline tickets are starting to climb as carriers respond to rising fuel costs tied to this war. Some European and Asian airlines have already raised fares or added fuel surcharges, and United Airlines could be next. CEO Scott Kirby warns higher ticket prices will probably start quickly, so experts are warning travelers to book early, set fare alerts, and use frequent flyer miles or credit card points instead of holding out for a perfect deal. And NVIDIA's GTC conference starts this week. It's a global artificial intelligence event, so market watchers will be keeping an eye out for new product announcements, demand trends, and NVIDIA's roadmap for next-generation accelerators. CEO Jensen Huang is set to deliver a keynote. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. UC Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call Zero Res. Springing forward feels better on freshly cleaned carpets and floors. Let Zero Res remove lingering grime and preparing your home for the brighter days ahead. Check out all the raging customer reviews online with a 4.9 Google rating. This month, buy one, get one room of carpet cleaned for free. Unlimited rooms of carpet when you ask for the DGS special. Call 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com. Spell it forward or backwards. Spells the same, Zero Res.
It is 7:39 and the news continues. Flights are being diverted from Dubai International Airport, the world's largest hub for international travel. CBS reports this comes as the United Arab Emirates says its air defense systems are intercepting missiles and drones, and Iran maintains retaliatory strikes. Dubai authorities brought a fire under control caused by a drone attack on a fuel tank near the airport this weekend. It's the third Iranian drone strike at the Dubai airport.
Jurors in Los Angeles will resume deliberations today in the first ever jury trial over the possible harmful effects of social media. CBS reports the jury took up the case Friday after a trial which heard witnesses, including Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg. The issue is whether Meta or YouTube deliberately created programs posing a danger of addiction in children, or if they were negligent. A 20-year-old woman filed a lawsuit claiming she became obsessed with social media starting at age 6, which amplified depression and suicidal thoughts.
The Kennedy Board of Trustees set to meet to vote on a controversial plan to shut down the Performing Arts Complex for 2 years while it undergoes major renovations. That meeting comes amid legal challenges and political scrutiny over the future of the historic venue.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER. Working hard but still falling behind? Learn how real estate investing can help you build income and move forward with purpose. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Miklasz joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, it really doesn't look bad, Megan, considering we're at the peak of the rush hour right now. Highways are in pretty decent shape. I do want to talk about our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route to tell you, this is the day, this is the hour, actually. I'm starting to see a little bit more of a backup at the intersection. It's a staggered intersection, 157 at 162. The east and west sides of 162 come in at different points, but that intersection is scheduled to be closed today, this hour, as a matter of fact. The east side of that intersection is supposed to be completed by October 31st. The west side, not till July 31st of 2027. So it's a long-term closure. Your alternate to get around that is going to be to use the interstates, 270, 255, and 5570. I know those are long workarounds, but those are the easiest routes to get you around this closure. That's going to be obviously a long-term one. As far as delays out there right now go, well, I say it's bad. It's a little busy around Manchester and Clayton Road up to Ladue on northbound 270. Northbound 55 still looks good through the construction zone at Festus and Bayless. Eastbound 70 and 64 out west look fine. And it's just a little slow westbound 64 at 159 in Metro East. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Want a new home in Cottleville? Check out Cottleville Trails by McKelvey Homes. Take a golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today to learn more about the incredible homes in Cottleville Trails and move up to McKelvey.
Let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Brian Thompson. And Brian, I can confirm there were snow flurries in downtown St. Louis this morning.
Yeah, and we still have a few flurries around right now, Debbie. They'll be with us a little while longer. Really shouldn't add up to very much. Most of what's around is very light this morning, although it is cold. It is. We have temperatures right now that are mostly in the low to mid 20s. And when you factor in a pretty gusty wind, which is gusting over 30 miles per hour, we have AccuWeather real field temperatures that are near zero. I see even some of the suburbs have dipped below zero in that department. So, again, a very cold day today. Couple of flurries early. It'll be mostly cloudy and windy through the day, a high 30. I don't know if those real field temps get any better than the teens heading into the afternoon. Breezy this evening, but most importantly, the wind will ease up tonight. It'll be clear to partly cloudy and very cold, 16 the overnight low. Then cold tomorrow with sun followed by increasing clouds. But again, I think it feels noticeably better than today, a high of 38. And after that, it really warms up. Mostly sunny Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 67 Wednesday, 74 Thursday, might hit 82 on Friday. Right now, we have 23 degrees in St. Peter's. It's also 23 in Florissant and 23 with some flurries downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right. Thank you, Brian. One thing I need to do today is call Ophthalmology Associates because I need a refill on my eye drop prescription. Why? Well, I didn't realize until I went to Ophthalmology Associates that I had dry eye disease. I knew my eyes were always really dry and it was annoying and I would rub them, but it was actually affecting my vision, which I didn't realize. Dr. Ranjan Malhotra said, oh yeah, your vision will actually improve once we get this under control. I was like, yeah, right, because people's vision improves. Well, it's true. It has totally improved. So this is just one of the reasons you should go to Ophthalmology Associates. They are the doctors, whether it's Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Busati, or Andy Royer. They do so much more than just having you read the eye chart. It's about the health of your eyes, cataracts, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, dry eye, allergic conjunctivitis. Yes, they do LASIK surgery. And yes, you can get your glasses and contacts there as well. Call for an appointment by dialing 314-966-5000 or find them online at youridoc.com.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's start with college basketball. St. Louis University, the Billikens are back in the NCAA tournament. They will play on Thursday at 8:45 Central Time. We will have it for you on KMOX. SLU is the 9 seed in the Midwest, starting out their games in Buffalo, New York, however, as they play Georgia there on Thursday night. If they win, SLU is likely matched up against the number 1 seed Michigan on Saturday. The Sweet 16 is in Chicago this year if they can get out of Buffalo. Missouri gets handed a beautiful situation. They are the number 10 seed in the West region. They'll play their first round game and potentially second round game in St. Louis. They'll play at Enterprise Center against Miami, Florida, the late game on Friday, 9:10 Central Time. And if Mizzou gets by the Hurricanes, they will likely get the 2 seed Purdue next, as the West region will play its Sweet 16 games in San Jose, but St. Louis gets the first and second round of the NCAA tournament, Friday and Sunday at Enterprise Center. And as for Illinois, they are the number 3 seed in the South. They'll play the 14th seed Penn, the Ivy League champion, on Thursday. Game time for that one, approximately 8:25 Central Time. Illinois plays either North Carolina or VCU in the next round, and if they can get past that, they'll go to the Sweet 16, where the University of Houston awaits as a possible 2 seed in Houston. That's a look at the NCAA tournament, just the 3 local teams in what should be an exciting tournament bracket. Here in Florida, the Cardinals beat the Nationals 6-3. Nelson Velazquez did it again.
The tall right-hander out of the stretch deals, and there's a high fly ball, deep left field, and it's long gone. A home run for Velazquez. He just launched his 4th home run of the spring.
A home run to left was his 4th of the spring. He's making a case for not only making this team, but possibly starting in the outfield. Here's manager Ollie Marmol.
He just continues to put it together. Short swing, continues to impact the ball. I like his overall vibe and energy in that dugout too. He's done a really nice job of integrating himself with our guys and becoming kind of part of what's going on. So I'm happy as to where that's at the moment.
Yesterday in Jupiter, Marmol had Velasquez in left, Victor Scott in center, Nathan Church in right. Jordan Walker missed another game working in the cages, the hitting lab, if you will, with a chance to collect data on his swing and see if they can get him corrected before the start of the season. The Cardinals have the day off today. They'll play the Nationals again tomorrow in West Palm Beach. The United States beat the Dominican Republic at the World Baseball Classic 2-1, advancing to the final to play either Venezuela or Italy. Those two teams meet tonight. Paul Skeens slowed down the Dominican offense yesterday. He went 4 1/3, allowed 1 run on 6 hits. Mason Miller closed out a strong bullpen effort with 2 strikeouts in the ninth. Gunnar Henderson and Roman Anthony had solo home runs for the U.S. The Blues lost at Winnipeg 3-2. In Florida, I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay, things people love.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Indian psychic and spiritual healer in St. Louis. Call 314-574-2667. Expert specialist in reuniting loved ones and husband and wife issues, family problems, and unnatural health and sickness, business and job-related issues. Special remedies to deal with negative energy, love spells, black magic issues, evil energies, and curse removal. Performs all types of spiritual prayers to heal the negative energy, balance the chakras, and much more. Contact Master Raj at 314-574-2667.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is now 7:51. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a light Monday, and this is a spring break week, too. There's a lot of kids that are off school, so maybe a lot of families hitting the road doing something different this week. So not as many folks on the highway doing the 9 to 5, because the only delays we have on the interstates right now is northbound 270. Manchester up to Ladue is pretty slow right now, but southbound doesn't look bad there. Southbound's a little slow in the 70 ramp lanes as you come down through the Rock Road to get onto east or westbound 70, but that's the only southbound. Slow down. North 55 looks great. Festus, north of Bayless. On the Illinois side, 64 through 159 in Fairview Heights. I'm not seeing any issues. Again, still seeing some delays in all directions there. 162 at 157. That intersection scheduled to be closed this hour. The east side of that intersection will reopen October 31st. The west side of that intersection not till July 31st of next year. But otherwise, the rest of these interstates are rolling pretty nicely. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy skies today. It's going to be windy and cold with a high of 30. Breezy tonight. Clear to partly cloudy and cold, an overnight low of 16. And then tomorrow, cold again, a high of 38. Right now, we've got cloudy skies, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. President Trump warning NATO faces a very bad future if the alliance fails to assist the U.S. in opening up the Strait of Hormuz.
I'm Vicky Barker in London. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has just addressed the British people, telling them it is vital that the Strait of Hormuz be reopened.
So we're working with all of our allies, including our European partners, to bring together a viable collective plan.
But he and Germany's foreign minister have also said any such plan should not involve NATO, which was designed for defense, an apparent rebuff to President Trump's latest demand.
Pressure continues to build across the Atlantic over the Epstein files.
I'm Vicky Barker in London. The head of London's police force is traveling to Washington this week to press the Justice Department to speed up the release of any Epstein files pertaining to the convicted sex offender's links to Peter Mandelson, former ambassador to the U.S. This amid allegations that Mandelson may have shared sensitive government information with Epstein while serving as Britain's business secretary. Similar claims led to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's arrest last month. He's still under investigation by a different police force here. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
Travelers are facing long lines at airports due to the partial government shutdown affecting security screeners. Congress is deadlocked over Democrats' demands to reform how ICE operates. TSA employees have missed their first full paycheck, and more of them are off the job. CBS News correspondent Mark Strassman is at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson.
Since the start of the government's funding lapse, more than 300 TSA employees have quit, and call-out rates have more than doubled, according to data obtained exclusively by CBS News.
A blizzard in the upper Midwest overwhelmed many cities and towns, dealing with feet, not inches, of snow. CBS News correspondent Ian Lee is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where the blizzard warning is still in effect.
It is brutal out here. That wind chill is below zero. You got to brace yourself because these wind gusts are so strong, but it's creating snow drifts like this all across downtown Green Bay as the city saw its biggest snowfall in one day on Sunday in more than a century. Rare thunder snow booming in western Wisconsin as a late winter blizzard sweeping across the upper Midwest left big rigs, one after another, stranded on Interstate 94 in more than 20 inches of snow. You weren't expecting this?
No, not all of this at once, no.
In Green Bay, record snowfall forced the city to declare a snow emergency. The blizzard dumped more than 17 inches Sunday, its biggest one-day snowfall since 1889. We met one family trying to clear their driveway.
A wonderful family, because this would have been a nightmare for me to do it myself.
Jurors in Los Angeles resuming deliberations in the first ever jury trial over the possible harmful effects of social media.
The jury took up the case Friday after a trial which heard witnesses including Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg. The issue is whether Meta or YouTube deliberately created programs posing a danger of addiction in children or if they were negligent. A 20-year-old woman filed a lawsuit claiming she became obsessed with social media starting at age 6, which amplified depression and suicidal thoughts. Michael Toscano, CBS News.
A verdict for the woman could open social media companies up to harsh future penalties. It's now 7:56.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Universal Windows Direct. March is that time of year when a lot of us start thinking about fresh starts, spring cleaning, that kind of stuff. If you are in the market for replacement windows, here's the deal from Universal. When you buy 2 windows, you get 2 for free with no limit, 24 months with no payments and no interest, giving you 2 full years to enjoy the comfort before paying a dime. $500 bonus off your home improvement project, 314-334-2522 or universalwindowsdirect.com.
Paid for by government. The 1986 to 2021 United States Silver Eagle, the first ever U.S. silver dollar minted in 99.9% pure silver and is the best-selling coin in the world. These original and historic silver dollars have ceased production forever. They will never be minted again. For a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government-struck silver dollars are being released to the public. You can own a full pound of original U.S. silver dollar coins featuring Lady Liberty and the heraldic eagle, never to be struck again. Guarantee. Call now to secure original United States Silver Eagles by the pound. The first U.S. silver dollars ever to be struck in 99.9% pure silver. Plus, receive a free bonus, an American Collector's Pack valued at over $40 and free shipping with every order. Call 1-800-560-6468 now. to secure your full pound bag of United States Silver Eagle coins before they are gone. That's 1-800-560-6468.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Let's get another update on the roads for you on this Monday morning with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still a pretty easy going morning, Megan. I expect maybe a little more volume tomorrow, but today has been great. And I don't think folks stayed home because of the weather, or maybe, but it is a spring break week, so I know a lot of families will be hitting the road and getting out of town. So we do have some delays on both the roadways, 157 and 162. Looks more so like 157's impacted. That's where they're shutting down that intersection again, and scheduled to happen today, this hour, as a matter of fact, for a long-term rebuild project of that staggered intersection. Northbound 270 is just a little slow now, right just through 64 briefly. South 270 looks great there, and then the rest of the area highways continue to roll along. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Monday, the 16th of March. I'm Debbie Monterrey. There's a new nonprofit aiming to bridge the gap between academic research and real-world deployment of geospatial artificial intelligence. We'll get more at 8:11.
I'm Megan Lynch. We've now entered day 17 of the war in Iran. Retired Colonel and CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland will give us the latest on the situation in the Middle East.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson. A mostly cloudy day today. Might be a flurry or two this morning, otherwise windy and quite cold, a high only near 30.
Megan's going to have a snippet of what could be the national debut of a song. Be listening for that later in the next hour. Also, CBS News has the very latest for you after the tone.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We're well into the third week of the Iran war, and President Trump is pressuring NATO allies to step in to relieve a global oil supply shortage. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
Ultimately, we have to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to ensure stability in the market. That is not a simple task.
Correspondent Imtiaz Tayeb is near the strait in the United Arab Emirates.
The president says he's pressed about 7 countries to join a coalition to keep shipping moving through the waterway, and has also warned NATO countries that if they refuse, the consequences could be, and I'm quoting here, very bad for the alliance.
Germany's chancellor insists the Mideast war has nothing to do with NATO. Warning sirens in Tel Aviv today. Israel getting a heads up about possible incoming missiles after the IDF announced it had begun limited targeted ground operations against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Israel's defense minister says anyone who's fled that region will not be able to return home until northern Israel is safe. Spring arrives in 4 days, and a blizzard is making for a miserable morning in the upper Midwest. CBS's Ian Lee is in Green Bay.
Rare thunder snow booming in western Wisconsin, as a late winter blizzard sweeping across the upper Midwest left big rigs, one after another, stranded on Interstate 94 in more than 20 inches of snow.
Hundreds of flights are canceled from Chicago to New York City. The partial government shutdown is making things worse. Congress is still deadlocked over funding that would bring back paychecks for airport workers. CBS's Mark Strassman is at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson.
Over the weekend, some travelers dealt with long lines. At the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, the trifecta of spring break, an incoming storm, and TSA staffing shortages led to
absolute mayhem, if you ask me.
The TSA screening checkpoint at the airport in Atlanta was jam-packed too. At one point, there was a wait time of nearly 2 hours.
President Trump thanked TSA workers over the weekend and blamed Democrats for the ongoing shutdown. New research challenges assumptions about rising heart attack risk as we age. CBS's Vicki Barker.
Think about who's at risk from heart disease, and you'll likely picture an overweight, out-of-shape man in late middle age. But a 30-year study suggests that men start developing cardiovascular disease years earlier than women, with that risk starting to rise by their mid-30s.
Dow futures rising up to 392. This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 24 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, March 16th. I'm Megan Lynch. Thousands of Ameren customers in Missouri and Illinois still in the dark following Sunday's severe storms. The outages blanket all areas of St. Louis and the Metro East. Ackerman reports more than 1,700 Illinois residents and nearly 3,000 Missouri residents still without power. More St. Louis residents are finding themselves without power after a 2-vehicle crashes knocked down power lines this morning. Our partners at Fox 2 report the first crash occurred in Afton around 2 a.m. Initially, that crash knocked out power for more than 600 Ackerman customers. Ackerman reports approximately 200 customers in the area are still without power as on-site repair crews continue to work on that outage. A second crash occurred shortly before 2:30 this morning near Howdershell Road and Lynn Haven Lane. Ackerman reports more than 500 North St. Louis County residents are still without power due to downlines from that crash. That's the scene in downtown and North St. Louis on 314 Day. 7 people shot in less than 12 hours. St. Louis police spokesman Mitch McCoy says it started with a woman being shot and critically injured in the 3600 block of Illinois.
Then at 9:30, a 14-year-old girl shot at North Broadway and Halls Ferry in critical condition. Before 11 o'clock at Tucker and St. Charles, adult female shot, then dropped off at the hospital. 7th and Chestnut, a 17-year-old boy shot before midnight. Then before 2 o'clock Sunday morning, 2 adult men shot at 19th and Locust. This is what it sounded like.
Hey, hey, hey.
A gunfight captured by a Lyft driver's dash cam audio, courtesy of Dirk Brown. The violence didn't end there. Before 5 o'clock at 9th and Branch, another adult man shot. Police report there were numerous street takeovers. One at Morgan Ford and Gravois, where an adult woman hanging out of a car window was involved in an accident and ejected. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
St. Louis firefighters had a busy Sunday. Gusty winds didn't help. A first alarm sounded in the 4000 block of Labadee. Captain Garen Mosby.
Vacant 2-story, 4-family brick building. Heavy fire throughout. Exposure buildings. It's buildings on both side exposures.
A second fire broke out in a vacant 2-story building at North Kings Highway and St. Louis Avenue. When firefighters arrived, there was heavy fire coming from the first and second floors. No injuries reported in either incident. Tornado sirens in 3 Illinois towns did not sound during yesterday's severe weather. In a Facebook post, the Lincoln County Emergency Management Agency says the sirens in Troy, Winfield, and Moscow Mills didn't go off. However, they say sirens in Hawk Point and Ellsbury did. The agency and 911 dispatch reviewing and testing logs to figure out what went wrong. In the post, they remind residents that outdoor warning sirens should not be the only source of warning and that they should have multiple ways to receive severe weather alerts. Outgoing St. Louis County Executive Sam Page has reversed course on the idea of merging the city and county.
Page used to be opposed to a merger, but now he supports it. Still, given the history of this issue, is it realistic? KMOX Republican analyst John Hancock says he does see a path to consolidation, but it's going to take some time.
You're going to have to slowly build a consensus that needs to happen. I am marginally optimistic that it's going to happen within the next decade.
Democratic analyst Michael Kelly says financial circumstances may eventually force the city and county to join.
I'm hopeful that we're able to do it before we're a hospice patient. We're slipping towards that as the St. Louis region. So, who knows? Crisis sometimes is the best remedy. I'm hopeful and have my fingers crossed because I sure do love St. Louis and I'd like it to survive.
The history is daunting. The city and county became separate governments in the 1870s, and merger talks have come and gone many times since then. But in addition to Page's endorsement, Mayor Kara Spencer says she's open to discussions about it. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
From the KMOX business desk, the drama surrounding the closure of the last hotel on Washington Avenue may be over for now. It's been sold to a Georgia-based investment firm for $14 million. The last hotel in the old International Shoe Company opened to a lot of fanfare in 2019. It closed in March of last year over a legal dispute between the hotel's partners. One of those partners had been looking for a buyer for the property since 2022. We'll check the roads and the forecast coming up in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call me, Lance Drury, in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Hot matchup, colder drinks, only at Busch Stadium when the Cardinals host the Tampa Bay Rays on Sunday, March 29th. Fans will take home a stainless steel Cardinals tumbler presented by Coca-Cola and Quick Trip, designed to lock in the cold and show off your Cardinals pride. It's the perfect companion for 9 innings and beyond. A practical addition to any Cardinals collection that'll keep you cool all game long. Tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Nolan Gorman. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10, time for a check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, nobody should be complaining about the drive, Megan. I mean, everything looks great. Even that, we had earlier backups. I just see short delays on Telegraph at Yeager. That could be one of those places we've had signal problems because there's still a little bit of a backup, but it really hasn't gotten any worse all morning long. I do see a little bit of a backup now. It looks like we have an incident on eastbound Highway 70 just before you get to Cave Springs. Looks like there's a lane block there. It's not even back to 370, though, but it is pretty solid there. So just a brief wait in traffic, and then you should be back on the go. And the rest of the interstates on the Missouri side of the river look great. They continue to roll on the Illinois side, 64 through the O'Fallon, Fairview Heights area. No trouble downtown. Look good across the bridges. Route 3 is clear. Again, I'm seeing delays in all directions now. 157 at 162. Again, this is the hour, or last hour actually, 7 a.m. is when they were scheduled to begin shutting down that intersection. Again, it's a long-term rebuild project. They expect to have the east side of that staggered intersection completed by October 31st of this year, but the west side of the intersection won't be completed until July 31st of 2027. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be windy and very cold throughout the day today with a good deal of clouds. Might be a flurry or two this morning, a high near 30, and a very cold night tonight, especially for the middle of March. Clear to partly cloudy, a bit of a breeze, low 16. Cold tomorrow with sunshine followed by clouds, high only 38, but much warmer heading into Wednesday with a good deal of sunshine, high up to 67. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have cloudy skies this morning, 25 degrees in Florissant. It's 21 in St. Peters, 24 downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's Debbie Monterrey.
Two things that we hear a lot about, geospatial and AI. And maybe those things mean something to you and maybe not, but we're going to learn today more about Taylor Geospatial. Elliot Kellner is the president of Taylor Geospatial. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, so this is Taylor Geospatial is really the merging of two different groups, right? Tell us a little bit about what Taylor Geospatial is.
Yes, absolutely. So, a little bit of backstory. So, back in 2022, through a generous gift from the Taylor family, Taylor Geospatial Institute was founded and established at St. Louis University as a cross-campus research institute, with the idea being that they would collate the activities and efforts of 8 independent research institutions here in the broader St. Louis metro area, including the Danforth Plant Science Center, University of Missouri Columbia, University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, several other institutions as well. And after 3 years of successfully incubating this organization at SLU and the organization maturing as a research institute, there was a recognition by everyone involved that we were ready to step out as our own independent nonprofit research group. Now, about 18 months after the founding of TGI, though, they also created another organization called the Taylor Geospatial Engine. And the original concept there was that TGE would commercialize the technology being developed and spun out of TGI. But one thing that's important to note, and you've already kind of called this out, is that a lot has changed in the past 3 to 4 years, right? We're kind of in the middle of this technological revolution across the world, which is really being driven by artificial intelligence technologies. And as a part of that, an opportunity space has opened up in front of us to develop GeoAI technologies, but the best way to do that is with what we would call a focused research organization. So to your point, we're bringing together TGI and TGE into this new organization that's fit for this specific purpose of developing and commercializing GeoAI technologies in a way that accrues real benefit to the St. Louis community.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because I know it says for the digital public good. I think a lot of people are still a little concerned and worried about what AI is and can do. And this is for the public good. So explain.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we wanted to include that tagline very much to your point so that we could help people understand that these technologies hold an immense potential to actually improve the way that we manage life on Earth and we manage human communities, even that we manage the natural environment, right? So if you think about artificial intelligence models as collections of software tools that can help us analyze massive data sets, right? Data sets that might be so big that no group of humans could ever make their way all the way through it, right? But data that we really need to use to derive meaningful information about how to better manage, say, forest and natural resources, or to manage agricultural production, or to manage public health and human communities and urban planning. You can actually use this type of technology to accelerate and improve all of those applications and those outcomes in a way that, again, accrues benefit to human community. But the other reason that we're using that phrase for the digital public good is because everything that we do as a nonprofit organization, so to be sure, we're a 501c3, right? We are not in this for a profit margin. So everything that we do at Taylor Geospatial will be made publicly available, widely across the world, right? And our goal is that we ultimately create what we're referring to as the digital public trust, right? A data trust, where anybody who's interested in building or developing their own GeoAI model could come and use data that we're making available to them, could come and use model routines and algorithms and all of these kind of, if you think of them as like building blocks and component parts, that makes it a lot easier for you to assemble a car if we've already put all of those kind of initial pieces together for you. And we're making those available to the public so that then startup companies or strategic corporates or even government agencies can build those solutions and get them in the hands of end users faster.
You mentioned a lot of programs in universities, but where does the NGA fit into this, or does it? Because I know our listeners have heard a lot about NGA, the building of it over the years, although I'm not sure everyone's completely familiar with what they do.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. So the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, they have their Western headquarters here in St. Louis. And an important thing for us to remember as a community is that Western headquarters has been here for decades. But recently, the federal government decided to invest about $2 billion in a brand new modernized campus for NGA West that's up here in North City, close to where we are right now. And the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency is the federal agency that is tasked with collecting Earth observation imagery from this amazing array of satellites that are orbiting the Earth,
and then taking that imagery and using it in a way to better protect our communities. So that's what NGA does. They are actually analyzing satellite data, satellite imagery all the time, right? So to your question about how do they fit into this, NGA is a natural partner for everything that we're doing at Taylor Geospatial, because we would, assume, I think the goal is that some of these technologies that we're developing, some of these analytical building blocks that we're putting together and making available to the public would ultimately be used by government agencies like NGA to better fulfill their public missions.
Can you give me some concrete things that Taylor Geospatial does for people listening, like on a daily basis? Like, what are you concretely working on?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. That's a great question. And, this is one thing I always like to talk about. Like, we like to say the quiet part out loud. Like, at the end of the day, we have big, broad technological ambitions and goals. But what does that mean? Like, what do we actually do? And what we do at Taylor Geospatial is we fund academic research teams around the world. Here in Missouri, here in the Midwest, at these 8 core original institutions, but also broadly around the country and around the world, we fund academic research teams to pursue novel science and novel technical solutions that can be used to accelerate this industry. But then we don't leave it there, right? I think that's one of the tricks, and one of our key differentiators as a nonprofit organization is we don't leave the technology sitting on the shelf, right? Instead, we're going to take that technology that's developed by a scientific team, and we're going to pair it with, say, a developer or a contractor or a consultant or a solutions architect, right? A software programmer, to make sure that an actual widget, right? If you think about something that could ultimately be put on your computer or used on your phone, is actually built on top of that technology. And then we go the final last mile of working with a startup company or a strategic corporate to make sure that those technologies are actually taken to market and made available to end users. So in terms of what do? We partner with people, right? We are looking for academic research teams. We're looking for startup companies. We're looking for strategic corporates that are interested in joining us in this kind of broad collaborative effort to fund the development of novel technologies.
Well, it is definitely interesting and food for thought. It's Taylor Geospatial, a new unified nonprofit organization that's focusing on advancing geospatial artificial intelligence. The president of Taylor Geospatial is Elliot Kellner. Thanks for stopping in and telling us more about it.
Thank you so much, Debbie. I appreciate it.
8:20, let's get you another update on the roads now. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we look good, Megan. In fact, it looks like they cleared whatever it was. I'm assuming it was a stall because it wasn't out there very long. East on 70 before you get to Cave Springs. There's still some slow traffic, 370 midway in there, but it's opening up. It's slow down now instead of a jam. The rest of these highways are great, just a little slow on the ramp. Westbound 64 getting on to northbound 270. And, of course, I'm seeing delays pretty much in all directions now at the staggered intersection of 157 and 162. They started a roadwork project this past hour that's going to last through the fall of this year on part of it and through to the summer of next year on the other part. So expect those delays. And obviously the interstates 255, 270, and 5570 are the alternate routes around that restriction. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. And checking that forecast for today, mostly cloudy, windy, cold with a high of 30 degrees. Breezy this evening, then clear to partly cloudy, cold tonight, an overnight low of 16. Right now, cloudy skies, 24 degrees downtown at the Arch. Coming up next on Total Information AM, we're going to get the latest on the war in Iran with CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
If you need a new appliance, this is your sign. Shop at Lowe's now to get up to 35% off and next-day delivery on hundreds of major appliances. A new appliance now means an easier to-do list later. Our best lineup is at Lowe's. Valid through 3/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Order by 4 p.m. Available Monday through Saturday. Subject to availability. Fees, exclusions, and restrictions apply. See Lowes.com/appliance delivery for more details.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to Lynch for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. Lynch's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. Lenseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Let's get the latest on the situation in the Middle East. We're now in day 17 of the conflict with Iran. CBS News military analyst, retired Colonel Jeff McCausland joins me. Thanks, sir, for your time this morning.
Hey, Meg, it's great to be with you.
So, one of the comments that I'm hearing as the president is asking other nations to help secure the Strait of Hormuz, the German foreign minister said it's important for them to understand when both the U.S. and Israel consider the military aims of their deployment to have been reached. So has the U.S. and Israel, have they reached their objectives yet?
No, I don't think so, because to some degree, I'm not quite sure what that objective is. It has moved around a bit since this war began 17 days ago. At the onset, there seemed to be three, but again, we moved around a good bit. One was to destroy their capacity with missiles and drones to threaten the neighbors, threaten our installations in the region. Second was to destroy their any ability ever to produce a nuclear weapon. And thirdly was some discussion back and forth about potential regime change, something I think the Israelis perhaps were more interested in than the United States. And oh, by the way, don't forget, the Israelis are involved in a second war right now, which is the war in Lebanon, in which about 300 or 400 people have been killed and about 800,000 people displaced as we continue the conflict there in Iran. So for our allies now to say, well, if you want us to contribute, please tell us what the end state is going to be so we can get an idea of how our military forces are being used to what end, does not seem to be inappropriate at all. And further, sadly, I think underscores a lack of preparation, because there's that old saying, if you want me there at the landing, how about making sure I was there at the takeoff? It doesn't seem there was much preparation in terms of consulting with our allies before the war began that we were going to do this and that we might call upon them for their assistance.
Strategically, what are the U.S. options right now?
Well, strategically, I think there are really sort of two options. Option number one, at some point, you declare victory and go home, okay? And oddly, you could end up in a situation where all three people who are involved, the United States, Israelis, and the Iranians, claim we won. Iranians claim we won because the revolution still exists and the new Ayatollah is still there. The United States and the Israelis win because they claim they destroyed a lot of Iranian missile capacity and ability to produce a nuclear weapon, but no ability, frankly, to verify where nuclear material is or their ability to reconstitute. Israelis claim we not only did that, we blunted Hezbollah, a major Iranian proxy group in the process. So you could get to that situation. The second is, sadly, all wars are supposed to last a couple of days, and too oftentimes they go longer. And you end up escalating as things have occurred, both horizontally in the geography and vertically with the weaponry. And you get involved in a lot more of a conflict that could involve even ground troops. And it's instructive that we now have gotten word that 2,500 Marines, part of a Marine Expeditionary Force, has been moved to the region for some possible contingency. Not that they necessarily are going to be engaged on the ground, but they are there if needed.
One last question for you. When it comes to, this demand from President Trump that other nations help secure the Strait of Hormuz, how could other countries' involvement actually complicate this crisis?
Well, that's you complicated because of, again, it can't be done under the NATO flag for a host of reasons having to do with the treaty, and not all NATO members would support. So that can make it more complicated, that you got to create some kind of a structure. Now, we've done that in the past. We did that with a bunch of our allies, many from NATO, in trying to protect the waterways of the Red Sea. We did that during the Biden administration, initially during the Trump administration, as it was threatened by the Houthis. But then, of course, when you bring in allies, you've got to coordinate the effort, and multinational operations from a military standpoint, operational are just a bit more complicated because you don't work together all that much, and that could make it a bit more complicated as well.
Thank you very much. Always appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
That is CBS News military analyst, retired Colonel Jeff McCausland, joining us this morning here on KMOX. It's now 8:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's Tom Ackerman. Oh, I know it's cold today, but it's a great sign of spring when I start talking about Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Makes me think of baseball. I first met Tim Gamma down here in Florida. Big KMOX listener, big baseball fan, and it's so great to have him as a longtime partner of KMOX. Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care, and when it comes to tree care, there is no one better than Gamma Tree Experts. Tim and Tom Gamma carrying on what their father Frank did back in 1954, starting this company with a pickup truck and hand tools. And look at them now with a fleet of trucks, a fleet of vehicles, and a great team that will take care of your trees, professionally done, insured. They are the best in the business. We've been using them forever. And I think that businesses around town would tell you the very same. Gamma Tree Experts, gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
8:30, it's time for another check of the roads. The last time we checked in with Roger Brand, it was smooth sailing. Let's see if that's still the case. He joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways are in great shape out there. This traffic report's a service of Financial and Tax Strategies. I just see a little bit of a slowdown right now. Eastbound 44 approaching Laclede Station. It looks like they just cleared a stall out of the roadway. So it's just a little busy there. Really doesn't look that bad. And, of course, there are backups in all directions. That staggered intersection, 157 at 162, that roadwork project getting underway today. The east side of that intersection be wrapped up in October this year. The west side not till July of next year. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it is going to be a cold one today, a high only around 30 degrees with cloudy skies, windy as well. Breezy as we head into the evening, otherwise clear to partly cloudy, very cold with an overnight low of 16. And then for your St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, cold with sun followed by increasing clouds throughout the day, a high of 38. We have cloudy skies, 24 degrees downtown at the Arch. It's tax season, and that means tax scams. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger offers some tips this morning on Total Information AM.
The criminals out there, the scammers, they know that we get very emotional around this time, and we are sort of nervous about doing this in some level, right? Like there's sort of like the hassle of it, but also the low-level anxiety. And criminals are so smart, they kind of tap into that. So I just want to have a warning to everybody that obviously we know that scammers are out during this time of year, and the IRS comes out with this list of like the most prevalent scams. They call it their dirty dozen. So I want to put it out there that even if you've already filed your taxes, the scammers are at it because they'll say, oh, it's the IRS and here I am. And like, we had a problem with your return or whatever. And they're really just trying to get you to click on things, engage in some way. So the most important thing that I can say to everyone is that think of this like defensive driving. You're going to go out, you're going to teach your kid how to drive. You're going to say, okay, just check around. That's kind of how you approach tax season. And know that the IRS communicates in one main way, through the United States Postal Service. Really boring, right? Old school snail mail. They are not texting you. They are not calling you. They are not DMing you on social media. And so if you have any kind of communication outside of that United States Postal Service methodology, you should really see that as a red flag.
I worry too about the people who are looking for cheaper or free ways of filing, because there's a lot of things on the internet that promise to file your stuff for you for free.
Absolutely. It's funny that the IRS flagged this recently. This is kind of a newfangled kind of thing. What they're calling it is ghost tax preparers. And what that means is that these are folks who are kind of luring you with like those promises. Oh, I'll get you your refund. Or I know the tax credits that you don't know, blah, 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 which is all nonsense. Because if you just use IRS free file, you're going to get most of this anyway. But the other thing they'll do is they'll get your personal information from you. They'll capture it. They'll send you a return. It looks like a return that you would file. You look down and the tax preparer does not sign it. By law, any IRS legitimate tax preparer has to sign the return. If they're not signing the return, huge red flag. And, listen, gang, come on. Be wary of anyone who promises these big paydays. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
That is Debbie Monterrey with CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger, and you can find Jill at jillonmoney.com.
Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime. She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter. Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Illinois.
Larry Older here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain has started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer, out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Rising oil prices definitely shaking up the economic outlook for the Federal Reserve. Wall Street is waiting on interest rate guidance this week from the central bank. The Fed kicking off its two-day meeting tomorrow. Forecasters widely expect policymakers to keep interest rates unchanged Wednesday afternoon. The Mideast war's disruption of oil and gas flows is prompting new interest from Asian countries in importing more energy from the U.S. That's coming from Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, who adds the urgency to do a deal has gone up because many nations are dependent on supply that travels through the Strait of Hormuz. And Elon Musk's artificial intelligence startup XAI is looking to hire financial experts to make its Grok chatbot better at investment strategy. XAI is actively recruiting Wall Street bankers, portfolio managers, and traders for teams that train Grok, according to a series of job postings on its website. The company is also hiring professionals in crypto. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renters also hire experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Experience power, beauty, and bold imagination with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in Beethoven's Emperor Concerto, Radiant Vision. Acclaimed pianist Vikingur Olafsson returns to perform Beethoven's heroic Emperor Piano Concerto alongside Kevin Putz, led by music director Stefan Denev. March 27th and 28th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Hey guys, Glover here with my good friend John Moriarty. John and I have been friends and business partners for years now. He is the principal at E3 Consultant Group, and he is back in the DGS fold. So John, introduce yourself to the listeners.
I am so happy to be back and also happy to talk about our firm, E3. We have over 70 advisors, Dave, now in multiple cities, working with our clients on the wealth, tax, insurance, asset protection, business consulting side. One of my biggest passions right now is working with business owners and trying to help them reduce their tax liability, improve their cash flow for future generations.
I've known John for years and years and years now. John is a good guy, very smart, excellent pitcher in baseball. That means a lot to me. You have
those days are long gone.
You have a new book out.
We do have a new book out. It's called The Entrepreneur Playbook, written for business owners that have an entrepreneurial mindset. And the book should be dropping on Amazon probably in the next 30 days. And we've got white papers that are supporting it. A lot of that information is going to be on our website at e3wealth.com. But the key thing to me, Dave, is we try to keep creating educational tools for business owners, individuals, families, so that they can protect the purpose of their money.
So whether you are interested in classic personal retirement, business growth, or just an overall tax strategy, reach out to my friend John at e3wealth.com. Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. You know, they do such a great job. Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes now. This month, buy one, get one room of carpet clean for free. Unlimited rooms of carpet. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and let them know that Dave sent you.
This is 104.1 FM, KMOX. Here's what's happening. Bed bugs becoming a problem for travelers again. Terminix says the top 3 U.S. destinations with infestations are Philadelphia, New York City, and Cleveland. The cost of renouncing U.S. citizenship has dropped dramatically, 80%, from $2,350 to $450. And airline ticket prices starting to climb as carriers respond to rising jet fuel costs tied to the war in Iran. Let's get the latest on the roads now. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways continue to roll along. This traffic report's a service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. In fact, the only slowdown we had on eastbound 44 at Laclede Station, that stall, they cleared it, and that has completely thinned out. Of course, there are backups in all directions at the intersections of 157 and 162, where that roadwork project is getting underway in Metro East. But otherwise, these interstates are in great shape for you right now. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
A cold day today, mostly cloudy, windy, a high of 30. Right now, cloudy skies, 24 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM. Here's Debbie Monterrey.
National politics get so much attention, but if you want to make an impact, think local. Have you ever considered running for school board? Joining me right now is the founder of Rise and Run, Nina Needleman. Welcome to KMOX.
Hi, Deb. Thanks for having me.
What is Rise and Run?
Rise and Run is a program to teach women how to run for office now or later, or women who want to work on campaigns.
Is it specifically school board, or do you focus on all kinds of different offices?
All kinds of different offices.
But this in particular, coming up on March 19th, you're looking at school board.
Yes, Rise and Run is a one-year program, a one-year pilot program. We had a two-day workshop in January. We have 3 lunch and learns. This is the first one. We have another one in May on finance and fundraising, and another one October 15th on effective presentations for leaders.
All right, this sounds like absolutely necessary information, because I think some people who may have considered running, it seems really overwhelming. Where do you start? I'm not rich, I don't have connections, and that kind of thing. Is that a lot of the reasons that keep people from running?
Yeah, there's actually something called imposter syndrome, where a lot of women think they're not good enough and smart enough to run, and that's not true. And all they need is to learn how, and we're going to teach them.
Talk about school board specifically, because that is the focus. Prepare to run for school board on Thursday, March 19th. What is it about school board? What would you say to people to maybe even encourage them to think about running?
Well, first of all, there's more women on school boards than in other types of politics. And a lot of women are very passionate about their schools and making sure the curriculum the kids get is good and they're safe and they have opinions about what's in the library. This training is a little different because the pre-work for school board is a little different than the pre-work for other offices. You know, you got to really learn what the issues are in your community and specifically in your school board. But after that, it's all the same skills and logistics that you need to run for anything, which is raise money, lots of voter contact, canvassing skills, endorsement strategies, social media, but really having a team and charging.
Would you say that for somebody starting out in a political career, or doing this for the first time, that's maybe an easier entry point as far as fundraising goes? Because I know fundraising is daunting to a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's differences in different districts and things, and whether it's a contested seat, but it's definitely more manageable. And I want people to know there's a formula to do this. There's a lot of women in office now, and there's a formula to get there, and we can show you how.
You mentioned imposter syndrome, and I think that does afflict a lot of women. But I've also been reading studies over the last couple of years that a lot of women have been so turned off by some of the political climate. And it's even on school boards where things have gotten a little crazy the last few years, that stops them from running as well. So I guess this would be a good way to change the culture if they want to change it.
Well, and women are more collaborators. It's less about ego and more about let's help kids, let's solve these issues. So, between women, there's not going to be so much of this negative stuff going on. And we're going to also teach them how to respond and how to deflect and redirect when they hear negative things.
You said this is a year-long program. Does somebody have to go to all of the things, or it's like, I'm just maybe thinking I might possibly be interested in school board, so I'm going to hear what you have to say?
It's not required that you attend all of it. It is my vision to keep this ongoing and to maybe even create a certificate program for women who want to run for office. As one of my inspirations was the Sue Shear Institute for Women in Public Life at UMSL. For 23 years, they trained women all over the state, from everything from school board to county councils to state rep and senator. And sadly, that program closed in 2019, and it needs to be replaced. We need a comprehensive program to support and train women.
On March 19th, Thursday, again, we mentioned it's the Prepare to Run for School Board. You do have to register for this, but can you talk a little bit about what this is going to be like and who people will be hearing from?
Sure. Actually, we have 3 incredible school board members from different school districts. We have Karen Bernstein from U City. Jamal Bailey from Ferguson Florissant, and Sarah Okel from Francis Howell. And it's going to be facilitated by former Senator Jill Shoup, who started her career back in the 1980s on the Ladue School Board because her kids' school didn't have air conditioning and she thought they should.
I think that it's probably in my past, I've had people, because I used to work in politics. I used to work for the governor in Wisconsin, and people would come to me and they'd say, I really want to get into politics. Can I pick your brain? And they would say, I'm going to run for Congress. Somebody who has never run for anything. And I would always say, you might want to start smaller than that. And some people, I'm sure if you've got, a huge wallet, you can just maybe start out there. But they would look at me like, what? But I'd say, yeah, you want to start school board or city council or something to understand how this works. Would you agree?
I would. One of our speakers in January was Keisha Lee from the Ladue School Board, and she had to run 3 times before she got in, and somebody advised her, get involved in the community first so that you can raise your visibility. So she got on the Parks and Recreation Committee and worked and became more known. And that helped to elevate her visibility for when she ran for a school board.
And even if you have no intention of running for higher office, you can certainly affect change at your child's school or your community school.
Well, and there's something like 500,000 elected positions around the country. And a lot of them are different things in the community where you can make a difference and you can learn the skills, leadership skills that'll help you elsewhere.
So we mentioned Thursday, the 19th, is prepare to run for school board. What were the other topics coming up? Because those were really interesting too.
So on May 14th, it's going to be finance and fundraising. On October 15th, it's going to be effective presentation skills for leaders. And the May program is going to be at the Clark Family Library on Lindbergh. And the October one's going to be at the Delmar Divine.
And where is this one on Thursday?
Lindenwood
University.
In St. Charles.
So people do need to register. It's a panel discussion going on. It's from 11:30 to 1. And how do people register, Nina?
For more information, see our Facebook event page, Rise and Run. And actually, because you're listening to this broadcast, they'll give you a discount code of, in capital, Rise and Run 26, and that will waive the $20 lunch fee.
All right, terrific. So register for that and get yourself prepared to run for school board and check out the other events coming up as well. Nina Needleman is with Rise and Run. Thanks so much for the information.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up on Total Information AM, we actually get to debut a song from The Karate Kid, the musical. It launched here in St. Louis. It's beginning its UK tour, so stay with us.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the 3rd leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting. Visit thegelmanteam.com or give them a call at 314-336-1991.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and with me in studio this morning is Jack Lane, an award-winning producer who spent more than 36 years at Stages St. Louis. He's produced 15 Broadway productions, has been nominated for 8 Tony Awards, and has won 4. And for the first time, he's been nominated for the prestigious Olivier Award for co-producing the West End production of Evita, which will transfer to Broadway this fall. Now, his latest is The Karate Kid, the musical, which debuted in St. Louis, but it's beginning its UK tour. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Megan, you got all of that right. That is amazing. That is quite a list.
I got to credit my coworker, Debbie Monterrey, for getting all that together for me.
Oh, my gosh.
How does it feel to be recognized across the pond?
It's great. I've always loved London. It's a great place to start musicals. It's much less expensive to start in London. And it's just a great, great feeling. I had those great 36 years at Stages, but now I can really focus on my projects on Broadway and the West End.
I'm curious, why is it better to start a production in England?
It's less expensive. It's gotten so expensive to produce on Broadway that it's smarter right now. If you can start out in the UK, if you got a support team in the UK, start out there, which is why we're starting Karate Kid there, and then Toronto, and then from there, either Broadway or possibly to the West End. This is phase 1 for the Karate Kid, the musical.
Now, we have to note that it premiered at the Kirkwood Performing Arts Center.
Yes.
Now in London. You said rehearsals begin today?
Today, just a few hours ago. Yeah.
Can we play the song? Is this?
Yeah, it's called It's a Million Miles Away. It's one of Daniel's first songs. He just relocated to California with his mom from New Jersey, said the New York kid. And he's just really confused, and he's run into the bullies. And this is talking about how much I miss home. Will I ever fit in this new place?
Great.
She calls us home, but home feels like a million miles away.
And that is from the UK tour that begins today of The Karate Kid, the musical. Why do you think this story still resonates with people?
I think it's because we all want a Mr. Miyagi in our lives, that home, that center, that balance. And there's a spirituality to that story and how right always wins. It's universal. And gosh, almost 50 years later, here we are. It's not over with Karate Kid.
Well, besides that song that debuted here this morning.
Yeah, Gino Ocello, by the way.
Okay.
Gino Ocello is our Daniel in the UK.
Okay. Has anything changed with the show since it left St. Louis?
That's been tweaked. As you know, that's a tryout's a tryout. You know, what worked, what didn't work. I think it could have moved forward as it were, but they've made some changes for the opening number, and they've kind of truncated a few things. There's one new song, so they will continue to fine tune along the way, but it's in really good shape.
How long does it take to move something from the UK back to the United States typically?
There's so many different stories. I would hope within 3 years we'll be seeing it on Broadway, but we're going to wait and see how it's accepted and how well it plays. But every story is different with each show. It truly is. Post-pandemic, it's been really, really fascinating to see how shows get to Broadway and what shows make it and what shows don't. It's a very tough time still on Broadway. So I'm glad we're starting out in the UK.
While we've got you, it sounds like you've always kind of got your hand in something. You know, what's next?
Well, what's next is something really wonderful because it started here, and it's Always Patsy Cline. We did 3 productions of Always Patsy Cline at Stages, and they were so successful, and I will be bringing it to Broadway. We are very thick in the middle of the star casting of the 2 roles of Patsy and Louise, and I hope we see Patsy on Broadway and beyond in the next 2 years. It's a real passion project of mine. And I'm also working with Cyndi Lauper on Working Girl, the musical. We just tried out at La Jolla Playhouse, heading to Broadway in the next couple of years, working with my producing partner, Kamiko Yoshi, with Karate Kid and Working Girl.
Jacqueline, thank you so much for coming in studio this morning. Good to have you back in St. Louis.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health, sponsored by Ethos.
If you snore, you're in some noisy